What's up, boss?
Okay, so welcome to Untitled 4, our first session. So we're just gonna get right started because I think I've already talked to you guys about what you need to have up. You know what you need to do.
Sam, what's your Twitch?
My Twitch is at DT75art. Hold on, it's
Oh, the
somewhere.
link in the
Yeah, you want to link it
has
for me?
some. I
Thank
can look
you.
at that. Yeah.
It's in discussion. I need to change my Twitch icon. All right.
Thank you.
But anyways, so uh we set the scene on a snowy, um heavily covered road. You can barely see the cobblestones in front of you, headed north. You're in the north part of the Jormungand continent. And it is a devastatingly cold day. Four people have already kind of found each other on this road. They're the only four headed north. And they are as follows. So we've got a priestly looking guy with a staff. Do you want to introduce Cassander?
Yeah.
Hold on, I got art. I got art.
Oh yeah. Post the art. There's my boy. Yeah. He's like a taller fellow. I forget what I said exactly, but he's on the taller side, 6 something.
He's the biggest sprite. That means he's the tallest.
He's got, he aside from his peculiar way of dress, he would almost seem normal if not for the big ol' long since healed over, but half of his face is covered in a pretty gnarly burn that makes both of his eyes are functional, but it does make one of them look a little. He's got that Zuko avatar shit going on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably he's not ignoring the group necessarily. He's probably already said like hello to all of you, and he's like let it up. But he's probably like walking towards the front, not necessarily ahead of anybody. But he's walking towards the front, and he seems to be listening for something.
Okay. All right. That's Cassander taking the lead. Hold on. I minimized Photoshop. Next up, we have a lady who seems to have some sort of eye patch situation. Annika, do you want to introduce Isidore? Annika has died. Sad.
Sadly,
Sorry, I
already.
had my mic muted and forgot that I had my mic muted.
You're
Uh,
okay.
Hopefully this doesn't occur again.
No, you're good. You're
Um,
good. Tell us about Isidore.
I just didn't want the sound of a meatball entering my mouth to be
The
live on
meat
Twitch.
noises.
Yeah, schmack, schmack, schmack.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Nasty.
so yeah, Isidore is uh when everyone else kind of finds her, she's kind of not really camping on the side of the road, more like just kind of sitting there resting. Um, and when people pass by, she just kind of very briefly acknowledges them and uh, kind of figures out pretty quickly just by inspection that these people are probably going to the same place she is. Where else would we be going? Um, and so she starts following. One thing you do notice is that she gets up, kind of stumbles around a little as if she got up too quickly and is now dizzy, and then violently dry heaves into the woods
Oh, fuck.
uh, before continuing. You'd also notice that she just generally looks kind of like shit. She's
Okay.
covered in like dirt and has a blood-stained bandage wrapped around what appears to be most of one side of her head, covering her eye. Her clothes are a bunch of mismatched stuff. Uh, and she looks like she's been kind of out here in the woods for a while.
Okay.
And she kind of just takes the last spot in the party and is just kind of following people, keeping an eye on them.
All right. So we got Cassandra at the front. Isidore. Is it Isidore or Isidore?
Isidore.
Isidore. We got Isidore bringing up the rear. Let's talk about the middle of the sandwich. So we've got the lettuce, Maurice. Um, we've got a Large man in armor, like a middle-aged sort of dude. Do you want to tell us about Maurice's deal? How's he doing on the road today? And what does he look like?
Absolutely. So his name, as introduced to you all, is Maurice Marjoram. Maurice Marjoram. He is like currently, I want to say like he's trailing just behind Cassandra a little bit, kind of like he wants to ask Cassandra a question, but he's debating with himself about whether it's a good idea or not. He like blows into his hands, and sort of like rubs his hands together. You get the sense that he may have been a stud in his youth somewhat, but that his middle-aged years are creeping up on him, and with it comes a midlife crisis. He is indeed heavily armored. The notable thing you would notice about his appearance, aside from like his striking kind of like greenish hair, is the fact that there is a tiny little sack around at his hip that is velvet, and it is lovingly embroidered with a misspelled variant of the word friend in cursive. It appears to be twitching every so often as he walks along on his path.
All right. All right. Definitely a kind of guy I feel like we're gonna have people questioning once we get out of the character intros, but that's the lettuce of the party. That's Maurice. And last but not least, also in the middle of the party here is a young woman with bright orange hair who also seems to be carrying some sort of staff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Clover?
Oh, that's my girl. Yeah, so she's definitely content to be kind of towards the middle of the pack because she is very wary. Like it's clear that she's not really the adventuring type. She's kind of grasping the staff in her hand, looking very nervous, very aware of her surroundings, as though she is very not accustomed to the things they are currently doing, walking around and in an unknown location with people she doesn't really know. She definitely seems very unsure, but at the same time, she definitely takes comfort in the people around her that seem much more experienced than she is in this setting. She does take notice that she seems to be the youngest of them all, so she assumes that they all have, more experiences than she does. But she can also tell that a lot of them seem to have some sort of troubles in their life, that either currently or in the past, and she's just staying very aware of her surroundings as well as the people around her. But she has definitely been very friendly to when she has met the party. She has probably said that she is searching for somebody and has described this person, and that she is hoping to find him where they are heading, because it seems to be the type of place that he would go to check out. But she's just definitely sticking probably closest to Maurice because he is armored and just seems like he would be good at protecting people just based on what he is wearing. She just obviously is not very confident in this situation, and is obviously doing this out of some sort of, concern for the person she's looking for, and she just wants to go home, really, with this person, and she is not happy to be here, but she is still obviously a sweet and caring girl who just wants to make it home with her husband.
Gotcha. Okay.
Don't we all?
Me
She's
too,
also
girl.
like 5'2" or something. She's pretty short.
Short queen.
She baby.
She baby. Okay, so that is our quick introduction. So I think Maurice looked like he had a question. I'll leave the floor to Maurice.
So, Maurice Marjoram, generally, when you all met him, seems to be plagued by like a slight ennui kind of around his general demeanor. Like, it's not too noticeable. He seemed to put up a fairly affable front when y'all met him, but it's still, this very much seems like a guy who is searching for something to fill the hole in his soul out on the ice. And so it is at this moment that Maurice Marjoram finally seems to steel himself and ask his question. He sort of like gently boop, 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 like trods up a little bit with his giant weight. You never thought that like a big guy like Maurice can kind of seem so small when he's like asking a question, but in this case, like he very much is sort of looking over at Cassandra. Cassandra, I hear you're a holy man. I wanted to be a holy man once too. Could you tell me more about that whole deal you have going on? And he sort of like waves with a hand as if to sort of gesture at the robes.
Oh. Oh. Well, I love his voice.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I would call myself a holy man quite yet. I'm more of a student. Um, it's hard to be a holy man when you don't know who's speaking to you, after all.
That is true. I mean, I've perhaps that would make prayers a bit of a difficulty and so on. Well, what does the god say to you?
All sorts of things. The more, it's not so literal all the time. Sometimes it's just sounds that I follow. Or sometimes it's more specific commands, like I've slept outside in the rain before because my lord willed it. Um, I'm trying to listen to him right now, but or her, whoever it is. But as soon as I hear something new, as soon as I hear something new, I'll let you know, or perhaps you'll just see. If you want to partake with me, you're welcome to.
But what do we mean by partaking? He
Well,
tilts his head a little bit like a dog.
well, if my lord were to command me to do something, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have more than one worshipper.
I think I'll just wait and see for now, if that's alright. No harm to you or your god. I'm just looking around.
Uh, as you as you say, looking around, Cassander, he begins to he stops in the middle of the road, um, and he begins to sniff the air.
Maurice halts to a stop and is also kind of trying to keep his eyes out, but he's kind of losing his he's getting into his twilight years, so he sort of squint. He has to squint a little bit.
Can I make an addition real quick?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're saying that they stopped pretty short, pretty suddenly, right?
Yeah, Cassander
Yeah,
did
I
anyway.
would
And he's
say that.
sniffing.
Okay, because while the two of them were talking, I was kind of imagining Clover she is sticking pretty close by just because she is so nervous just with the whole situation, and but she was definitely kind of looking off and around the area. She probably might have walked directly into one of them from behind without noticing they had stopped walking.
Professor
But she would.
Mhm. No,
But
go,
she
go.
would just kind of make a small noise and take a step back. Shock.
Sander doesn't seem to notice that you did that because now he seems to be he's looking wide-eyed all around him. Sam, would I make a little check to see if he smells anything?
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
Yay. Let's see. 15.
15. You don't smell anything in the air aside from just like the sting of cold and maybe some dust from the road.
He kind of stops in his fervent sniffing, we'll say. Perhaps the snow's already buried it. I suppose it'll be keen to look out for ashes when we get there.
Why exactly have we stopped?
Oh! I was concerned there was a fire.
I think the question would therefore be what kind of thing is set in that fire out in the middle of the big old wilderness. And he sort of gestures grandly with a hand.
Oh, well, I don't smell anything. Perhaps the fire's already burned.
Or maybe I'm just not as good at sniffing as I thought I was.
We all have different sniffers. Don't get so down on yourself about your sniffing skills.
Well, of course, I'm just as God made me.
I mean, based on Cassandra's words, I mean, Clover would definitely be trying to be more aware of this. I mean, she was already looking around, but she would definitely start to kind of sniff at the air as well, just based on his behaviors. Should I make a perception check?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Anyone in the
where's
party
that?
can make a perception check for, I guess,
That's
sniffing.
that's a d20, right?
Yes, that is a d20 plus your. Oh God, what stat is it?
Wisdom mod plus proficiency if you
Yeah.
have it. Plus or minus if you're bad at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters that we're adding anything on because she rolled a 4. So,
Alright. Well,
which is
with a 4, you direct your sniffer towards the air. It's so cold. You can't smell anything but the scent of the inside of your nostrils freezing.
okay. So she kind of just, so she doesn't notice anything, and so does that mean like he was sniffing the air? There wasn't anything he was looking at directly, was there? That would like hint.
No, he seemed to just be looking around. I suppose you could ask him.
Yeah, I think that's because that's what I was gonna say. Because if there's nothing like specific around that would hint to why he was suspecting this, Clover would kind of speak up for the first time in a little bit and just be like, "Why would you think there was a fire?"
Well, because my lord told me. A nasty one, too. It burnt the whole town.
What
Oh.
town?
Just, he did not specify. Just the town. Big fire. All gone.
Oh
I was
God.
concerned it might still be burning is all.
Clover
Can-
just looks
can-
concerned.
Can I roll like a check of some kind for Maurice Marjoram to try to figure out like where the how far out their destination is?
Sure, go ahead. You can make a traversal check. Kind of approximate where you came from to where you are to where you're going.
Oh yeah, let's go. Okay, so let me just go ahead and pull up my dice roller. So like what? Oh wait, that's right. Okay, so traversal check, travel check. So I would be rolling specifically what kind of number of dice?
It's just a d20 plus your strength plus your
Mhm.
traversal if you are proficient in it.
Got it.
Or
All right.
minus your traversal if you suck at it.
Okay, so that would be 20-sided die. 1. I got a 5. Oh wait, I need to add my traversal check to that. So that would be 6, 7, 10. So 10 specifically I got, I think.
A 10? Alright, you're not sure of the exact time. It's been kind of a long, empty road until you've met this gaggle of morons. So you'd guess it's like a day away. You see the mountain that it's hypothetically behind in the distance, so it's in reach.
Okay, it's good to know that. So like Maurice is also trying to think like he like looks around at the others and he goes, "Does anybody have rations?"
Go on, please.
Oh, goodness. I was thinking we might be walking a little bit far, so it's good to always plan for meals.
Um, Clover would kind of scan their surroundings a little bit. What's the setting? Like you said, there's a lot of like ice and snow. Are
It's
they in
an
like
icy,
a other?
snowy road. It's kind of lined by trees.
Okay,
It
just 'cause
looks kind of like what's on the screen.
Okay, so there is kind of like a forested, some plant
A little
life
bit, a little
around them?
bit.
Okay. Because Clover would kind of she'd be very just in general, I'll make the detail that she is talking pretty quietly in general, just kind of unsure if she really should be trying to add to the conversation at all, just because she's so unfamiliar with these situations. But she'd kind of just be like, I can try to find some plants to eat.
That would be very nice.
Okay.
You
So she
can
kind of like,
make a nature check whenever you're ready.
yeah, she'd kind of stay a little nearby, but she would like, kind of scamper off a little bit to just peruse what little plant life there is around there, kind of brushing through the snow a little bit. And let's see, that would be D20. All right, and which am I adding to that?
Nature. So that's magic,
Nature.
and then if you're proficient or unproficient in nature, you add that too.
It's blue. That means
That
proficient,
means you're
right?
proficient.
Okay, so is it modifier that I'm adding on there?
Yes.
Okay,
It'll be your
so I
modifier
got-
plus 6 because that's our proficiency.
Okay, so hang on. So it's the dice roll plus the modifier plus 6?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I rolled a 13. Her modifier is 11. Oh. 13, 11, and plus 6. 30.
Damn. Okay.
Girl's good at this shit. That's like one of her skills is,
She's
is
like,
foraging.
I know fucking plants.
She like I may not know what I'm doing, but I do know plants.
Well,
Demolishing
luckily for
this.
you, there is a berry bush in this forest that is absolutely laden with fruit, enough for all of you and then some. And as you're searching around in this bush, can you make a perception check for me?
Yeah. Also, just since she rolled so high, can we say for sure that the berries are edible and not
Yeah, no, they're
poisonous?
edible. They're edible.
Okay, just to add that little detail.
And then I
Okay,
poison you
perception.
and you die.
The entire
Perception.
party dies.
Okay, and
Yay!
what do I add? Is perception wisdom? Yes.
So same
Okay,
thing,
so
but
it's
do
what
it
I
with wisdom.
rolled. So it's what I rolled plus the modifier. She is not.
Yes, she's not.
She doesn't
so
get a
it's-
bonus in that.
yeah.
So it's the base roll. That's not the highest roll I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Plus her modifier. But she is pretty high in wisdom, at least. So that is 22 total.
22. All right. As you're foraging around in this bush, filling up a little container full of berries, presumably to hand out or give to other people later.
Yes,
You notice that there is a small pile of things in the woods here, almost like sequestered behind a tree as if to hide them. You immediately notice what appears to be 2 wagon wheels, and a bunch of other stuff, like covered up as if to protect it from snow or damage or animals.
Okay. So because she scampered off a little bit to go forage, so she wasn't like right next to the others, she would definitely kind of freeze the moment she noticed that stuff, and just still holding some berries in her hands, she would just quickly stand up and turn around to the others like, there's something over here.
Cassander will immediately hurry over, saying something about, "Oh, they must have. This must be what was left."
Maurice kind of like jogs up a little bit. You hear his armor sort of jangling. And then from his tiny little sack of friend on his hip, you hear a few like furtive.
Oh, that did not come through.
Yeah, I just heard like
Furtive little nooting noises.
Oh,
in
here,
the-
I'll voice act the same way I do the voice acting for the other one.
like a hamster.
Hamster.
Cassander looks around wildly, as if he's never heard anything make that noise before. But he looks inquisitive.
Maurice Marjoram, he just sort
The
of like
owners?
he looks down at his hip and he goes, "Oh, I haven't fed him yet." He's getting very upset. And he reaches a hand into his sack of friends and he pulls out from it. Sam, would you like to describe it, or can I describe this boy?
Hold on, I have an image.
Oh.
Perfect.
You've had the same background since high school, girl.
I'm aware.
What?
Smudge.
pulls out a little spud-like
Oh,
creature.
hold on, I just have an idea.
Perfect, around the size of a cherry, with like 4 little nubbins for legs, and he is like angrily headbutting Maurice Marjorum's fingers with vehemence before immediately realizing he's being observed by an audience and striking a playful little pose on his 4 nubbins for his audience before
Clover
going back
immediately falls.
angrily headbutting Maurice Marjorum's fingers. And Maurice Marjoram, smiling, his chest puffing out with pride, goes, "This is Turgus."
Clover
What-
immediately falls in love.
What
A creature.
exactly is this thing?
He's a little guy. He's just a little man. I found him when I was out in the war. He was ambling around in the trenches, rolling round in the mud, and somebody was about to step on him.
Oh.
And I said, "No, thank you, you will not step on this little boy." And so I fed him, and he became my friend.
I do have a question to ask.
Yes.
I don't know the lore of these creatures or anything.
Do you want to make a
but
nature check?
Yeah, can I make a check for if Clover
Yes.
recognizes the
Of
creature at all
course you
from
may
her
make a
studies?
check.
Okay. Okay, so that's this one. Oh, that's a nice roll. Okay.
This Spud was in World War One.
Spud
got trench foot.
Okay, so that is this, and then that which that would be nature, you said?
Yes. No, actually, bestiary. Make a bestiary check.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, isn't that bestiary? Okay, so that's plus her wisdom modifier, and it plus 6 because she has the proficiency in
Yep.
bestiary. Right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, 39.
Christ. Yes, so this is a spudlet. They are widely regarded as vermin. They eat just about everything, and they bite.
Okay.
You really don't want to let it, especially near your treasury, because their favorite food
okay.
is your money. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
God. Okay, so since Clover is, pretty familiar with the creatures, Clover is very knowledgeable in nature, as we have seen, and she knows a lot about animals and plants. So she would, I don't know if this Spudlet counts as an animal, but you get me.
Yes, it is.
Okay, in this world it is. So she would just kind of like, I like how this is completely distracting from the stuff she has seen.
We're like standing over this pile of stuff. What the fuck is that thing?
But
What the
she
hell
was,
is even that?
Her focus of the stuff that she has found kind of gets distracted by this little critter, and she excitedly goes, "Oh, that's a spudlet!" And she kind of possibly recognize the behaviors that it's hungry because she. Is that a high enough roll? To
Yeah,
say
I'd
that
say
she can...
so.
Okay. So she'd probably kind of look at the berries in her hand, and she knows that these things are apt to bite, so she'd probably hold them out to Maurice and be like, "Does he want some?"
Yes, I believe Turgus is very hungry. Normally he likes Grandma's ashes, but I haven't found any sort of ashes to feed him. So I suppose he really likes these berries. They're a good bribe to keep him from getting mad.
Okay, so well, Clover would hand over a small amount of the berries because obviously they need them for themselves as well. But she'd hand over some of the berries, and her attention would kind of turn back to the wreckage behind them.
Yeah, well, this has been happening. Isidore has kind of completely ignored this interaction outside of the first surprise of like, oh, there's an animal there, and has kind of knelt down and is trying to like assess what the items are. What would I roll to determine how these items got there? I'm not seeing an investigation. Would that
To
be
determine how the
perception?
items got there, or you want to look at the items first to see what they are?
Do I have to roll to see what they are?
No, I could just describe them to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind describing them. You said there were some wagon wheels?
Sure. Yeah, well, you're closer now. You're not just Clover isn't just peeking through a bush at this pile. You're actually like next to it. So you can see that there are two highly damaged wagon wheels. They look like they split on the road or something similar. There's some discarded crates that seem to have been closed, nailed shut. You don't know what's in them, just off the top of your head. There is what looks to be like a little booklet on top of one of them, closed. A rolled up piece of paper kind of jammed in the side of it. What appears to be a set of like gauntlets or gloves, you're not sure, tucked in amongst the crates. And what seems to be a like maybe a box or something rectangular wrapped in heavy canvas with a rock on top of it.
All right. I would like to kind of gingerly but deliberately remove the rock and kind of pull aside the canvas.
Okay, yeah. So it appears to be a wrapped book of some sort. Very thick, very, very heavy, dark leather cover. It doesn't seem to have a title.
Okay. Um, if I just peek at the first page, is there anything that jumps out as like what kind of book this is?
Whatever kind of book it seems to be full of text that you don't know the language that it's in, but it's also illustrated. And page after page, you see visceral imagery of people being dismembered and harmed in all manners of ways. You can add the Ancient Book of Rituals to your inventory.
Oh, hell
All
yeah,
right.
brother.
I figured that would be a fun to just immediately get in the mix.
Can Cassandra walk over and pick up that other little booklet? Because he's also been rooting around here a little bit.
Sure. You pick up this little
Is that
booklet.
Is that an item?
It is an item. It's in the item spreadsheet.
Okay.
Um,
I will go looking
yeah.
for it. Then.
And I can explain how that works in bigger detail if people want to use it. But Cassandra, you pick up the little booklet, to find that it's full of something that jingles around. It doesn't appear to be just like a book. Even though the outside is very much like a book. It's like one of those trick boxes almost. Where it's built to look
does
like a
it
book.
does it open or does it seem to be locked?
No, it opens. It sticks
Alright.
a little bit, but it opens. And you can see that on one half there is what appears to be like a wax surface that is frozen over. So whatever was imprinted on it has stayed perfectly fine. And the other half is full of like little almost Scrabble letters with like bumped out little stamps for each letter. So this book, quote unquote, is somebody would press the letters into the wax to write stuff. But the person's, whoever left this here, their last message has been preserved. I'm going to share that with you so that you can read it aloud for the class.
Yippee! Yippee, yippee! Alright. Stamped book. Third week of travel, day 4. The cart has been making some unfortunate noises lately. I suspect one of the wheels is nearly finished, which doesn't surprise me, given the amount of ice on the road. I'm ever so glad that Alfie forced those spiked boots upon me, otherwise I would slip and never get up again. I wonder if Lady Gracia is cold. I suspect not, and she is covered better than the two of us, but the winds howl fervently, and the cloth of her carriage is all but hammered down to keep it from drifting away. Siren's Rock should be but a day away, according to her direction. I can barely tell day from night in this place. The sun does little to warm my face when it makes its brief appearances. Oh bother, what a trip.
And they did not sign their name. Presumably, based on like the appearance of the book, this is less of a I'm sharing this with people and more this is my little complaining book. That I erase every couple of days when I have something new to complain about.
Cassandra will he's gonna he's gonna keep hold of that. Presumably the owner is out here somewhere. And he kind of tilts at it, and then he tilts at the stuff. Lady. And by tilts I mean tilting his head about looking. Lady. I wonder if it was some sort of trading operation? Or perhaps these are the holy people.
Lady Gracia sounds like a very nice lady.
Indeed.
her.
I do hope she's wearing long sleeves.
What's this about holy people?
Well, I hear holy people walk here. That's why I came to follow. That's why I'm headed here. Well, and to are you all? I presume you were all headed to Siren's Rock, or perhaps you're just walking out in the snow. I've done that before too.
I heard that you can find great things at Siren's Rock. You can find hope and dreams and wonderful little wishes. That's why I'm going to Siren's Rock.
Oh. Well, I personally like to follow where gods may be lingering, and if holy men walk there, surely there's something. Goodness knows I can hear it.
So it was Isidore that picked up that other book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So Clover probably would have seen her pick that. Did she put it? What she is it? Her? Did she put it in her bag? What'd she do with it? Is she still
She's
holding it?
just kind of holding it.
Okay. So Clover, having an interest in books and the like, she would not have seen what was inside because she was a little distracted by the spudlet at the moment. So she would kind of kind of a little meander over to Isidore and kind of look at the book a little curiously and this messaging. And just kind of be like, what's in there?
I'm not 100% certain. It's a language I do not speak.
Can I see it?
Of course, you're welcome to have it. I'm not much of a books person.
Maurice Marjoram leans over somewhat near Clover to also inspect the contents of the book while he is hand feeding Turgis with a little pinky finger raised.
So Clover would take the book into her hands, I guess, if Isidore handed it over to her.
Yes, it weighs about as much as like a human toddler.
Okay,
it's
so
incredibly heavy.
She would be shocked. She would kind of take a second to when it got handed and take a moment to grasp it a little tighter before trying to open up the pages and taking a look. And I guess it depends what page she turns to, but you said it. We don't know what language it is.
You're welcome to make a scholastics check.
Okay. I mean, she's definitely disturbed by the imagery, naturally. But let's see what else if she can possibly, if anything, she can glean from this, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scholastics check, she said?
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing the D20. God, Clover, your fucking rolls. Okay. Okay. So that is this plus the magic modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 6 because she has a scholastics proficiency. We have a 21.
A 21? Alright, you don't speak ancient and you can't read ancient, but you can tell that this is ancient.
Okay. So she would, can we glean anything of the images if she can if she has
Sure.
any idea
Let me roll a dice here
of what's going on there?
No, one sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
She does have some magic knowledge, as we know.
Alright, you're gonna turn to a random page. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes.
6. Give me 1 sec, sorry. I'm doing my wretched evils.
Well, while Sam is doing her
No,
math,
I got my evils. I got them.
Oh, because I was just gonna say that she would kind of just say thoughtfully out loud, you said she could tell it's ancient language?
Yes.
Okay, so she would just kind of say, this is ancient language. And then take a look at whatever random page Sam has flipped us to.
Okay. You flip to a page which appears to depict a human body where their arms and legs are made of ice and someone is removing them with hatchets.
Clover's not thrilled at this.
Maurice Marjoram is so shocked he makes a kind of bird
Maurice is like a kiwi parrot to me. Like, not a kiwi parrot. What do they call those? one of those green little fucks in New
Yeah, he's
England.
like a cockapoo bird, like a
Yeah.
big old cockapoo bird.
Mhm.
So seeing the image, Clover's grasp on the book would weaken. Like she'd still hold on, she wouldn't drop it, but she would definitely weaken, just kind of feeling a little sick to her stomach, and just kind of being like, I don't know if we're supposed to be here.
Cassandra will walk over and he will offer to take the book from her. If she would like to.
Do you want to make a medicine check,
mean-
either one of you?
Yeah,
on this page of the
Sure.
book?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do
Cassandra
that.
got a 30.
Okay, let
what
me
did
take a
Clover get?
look at. Oh my God, Clover, you little. Okay, hang on. Okay,
Good heavens.
let me. What is it again? Medicine.
You're gonna make a medicine check to just.
Okay.
You looked at an image. What's happened? What is this?
20.
I
She
love-
got a 26.
Okay, you both did well. So both of
What is
you,
a smart girl?
the image, it's graphic, it's illustrated, but
Mhm.
it's still, visceral, graphic. It's drawn in like an ancient handed style, which means all the humans are like long and spindly and drawn out and scary looking. But upon a second glance, you can see that this is clearly a diagram on how to deal with frostbite.
Ooh,
It's medical. At least this
interesting.
bit is. May I take this from you for a moment? I'd like to take a closer look, if you don't mind.
Okay, so with that, if she was able to recognize that it was a thing to deal with frostbite, I just imagine like the initial visceral reaction she had was just like, oh my God, this is gross and scary and I don't like it. But then she kind of was like, oh, this is a medical diagram. But yeah, and then when Cassandra's like that, she would just hand it over to him, just like, of course.
And Cassandra, can you make me another scholastics check as the book flops around? It goes to a new page.
Yeah, he loves elastics. That's going to be a 19.
1 sec, I'm scrolling.
I am learning that Clover is probably going to be a lot better in these role playing sections than she's going to be in combat.
So you open to a page which seems to depict some sort of spindly lizard-like creature transforming into a man. It looks rather painful. So
Could he make
not
a medicine
completely.
check, perhaps?
Go ahead.
That's going to be a 27.
Can you stack that with a history check for me?
Yeah, I sure can. That is going to be a. Let's see that. 17, 23.
Alright, you've heard of dragons before. You know they're out there doing stuff. This appears to be a dragon turning into their humanoid form. But they don't seem to be having a good time, and you can't read any of the labels.
Can Clover do some checks as well,
Of
since she's
course,
still looking
jump
over?
on in.
I mean, probably won't get any new information either, but since we're here. What check would that be?
What are you trying to do to the book?
She would be looking at whatever image that it was flipped to and seeing if we learned anything extra. Probably
Sure.
not, but whatever. Why not? We can.
Sure.
So that would be what? Magic?
You can make
or
or
wisdom?
You can make a scholastics.
You said it was dragons. Would bestiary?
Yeah, you
apply
can make
here?
a beast. I'll give you different answers for different roles. How about that?
Okay, so since Cassandra did the what did you just did? You did the what'd you check
Scholastics
again?
and medicine.
Okay, so in that case, I'll go ahead and try to get some different information with bestiary with Clover. So that is a d20. All right. Oh my God, fucking Clover, where is your luck? Where is it? You're supposed to. Sorry. Okay. So we got that terrible roll plus her wisdom plus the proficiency. 25.
25 on a bestiary check. So you observe this
Yes.
picture of a dragon transforming into a man, and you've heard of dragons before. They're not like people you meet on the street, but they're definitely a type of person that exists out there. And the thing you know about dragons with a high roll like that is that they got pointy ears. The dragon, the guy he turns into, does not have pointy ears, and he seems to be distressed about that fact.
Okay. Okay, Clover would definitely take notice of that fact then, because you pointed out that he does not have pointy ears, and he is supposed to if he is a man that can turn into a dragon naturally or whatever, I guess. So she would look concerned at the image, and she would just kind of quietly, like, almost talking to herself, but able to be heard. She'd definitely be like, "That's not natural."
Can have you point that out? Can Cassandra make a history check to perhaps if he's heard of any of this being inflicted on somebody? Maybe not necessarily by book. Yeah. That is a 25.
I mean, there's certainly ways to inflict frostbite on people that aren't from books. But as far as
I was talking about the dragon thing.
Gotcha. I'm gonna say, as far as you're aware, you've never heard of it before. But who knows? The world out there is a beautiful and lovely place. And give me 1 second. I need to push a button.
There is one
Hold
more
on.
thing that I. Oh,
No, you're good.
hello.
You can keep going.
Okay. There was one other thing that just popped into my mind that I probably should have done when we first found the book. Just because Clover is a avid collector of books, she would have probably just tried to take notice of, like, just what kind of book this is. Like, what you said, it was bound in some sort of leather. She would kind of take notice of, like, how old she would, like, I'd like to do a check of, like, if she could see, like, kind of how old the book is, just that type of
You
thing.
can make an artistry check.
Artistry? That wouldn't be Scholastic. Oh yeah, because Scholastic. Okay, that
You're not
is.
reading it. You're looking at how it's made.
That is here. Okay. Oh, that would be artistry. Not
This book
what I was expecting it to be. All right. Oh my God, why is she getting so many low rolls? Okay.
Sorry, I just
So
smelled
she
my hand. It
got-
still smells like chicken. I'm hungry again. Sort of gnawing on my hand.
That is not the. Hang on. How do I use this? Okay, that was not the stat I was expecting it to use. All right. Okay, so she's not gonna. I guess she's not gonna know shit about it then because she got a 7.
7? You can tell that
Which
it's
kind
made
of
of.
goes against the character. But...
You can tell that it's made of leather. It's definitely old, like super old. Which,
Okay.
given the fact that it's full of ancient text, makes sense.
Well, yeah.
But someone's been
you
taking
never
very
know.
good care of it. You can see little signs that it's been, like, repaired in some spots. As you flip
okay.
through the pages, someone has put a lot of effort into, rewriting over where maybe it got water stained. So this is a book that somebody's taken care of.
Okay.
The fact that it's wrapped up in a canvas in the middle of the woods strikes you as odd.
All right. She wouldn't really say anything about this fact, but she would take it into mind.
As they're looking at it after you finish your last check there, Cassandra promptly, without any warning, kind of snaps the book shut, and he goes to not drop it, because that'd be rude. He mutters he mutters something about could be goods, I suppose, and then he walks over to the crate where just the crate in front of him, and he sets that down, sets the book down there, and goes, I don't think I will be touching this anymore.
Since Clover was she was probably leaning into the book a good amount because she was doing so many checks there. When he snaps it closed, she definitely kind of jumps a little bit and goes, "Ha!" Before he does his stuff, and she just kind of looks at him in concern because he seems like the kind of guy that would know what he's doing with this kind of thing.
I was like,
And
Well,
her hands are all over that pucker.
Well, y'all have been looking at the book. Isidore has gone over and used her short sword to try to pry one of the crates open.
Sure, yeah. Can you make a strength check for me? Because
Yeah.
it's nailed shut.
Strength. Okay, just the modifier, right? This
Yep.
isn't a skill. Yeah,
Just
okay.
strength.
So that's 26.
26? Yeah, you managed to pop the lid off of it pretty easily. And inside you see a couple little boxes of rations, basic supplies, soap, some tools, as if, someone had been traveling and they just left a box of their stuff behind. Just normal human supplies.
I found some rations.
That's good to know. Maurice Marjoram says he cuts off his argument with Turgis about trying to get Turgis back in his sack, and Turgis just has not been complying with this.
The
So
bag Nebby, complaint, Turgis. The bag Nebby.
Turgis rebellion. So he finally acquiesces and sort of gently sort of tucks him into a little pocket nearby where he can be watching the action as Maurice Marjoram finally trundles over to look at these supplies more. Can I have him roll a perception check of some kind on if there's anything notable
Sure,
in
go
these
ahead.
supplies? Okay, all right. Let me just go ahead and pull up my dice roller. My dice roller. Okay, there we go. 12, and then oh, right. 10
10?
with modifier.
Yeah, you're good. You don't notice anything particularly interesting aside from it seems like pretty decent supplies. It's definitely not super poor people left this year. Travelers, maybe merchants, something like that. But you do remember that amongst this pile there is a rolled up little piece of paper and a set of either gauntlets or gloves, you're not sure. Just left here. Those seem to be the objects of interest left in the pile that haven't been fawned over.
Can I have him go ahead and pick up the gauntlets and maybe try and inspect a little bit more about them?
Sure, you want to make a weaponry check?
Yes, I would totally want to make a weaponry check. All right, so then. Oh, damn. And so then if we're proficient, oh wait, no, we're not proficient in it. So yeah, it would be 24.
24? You can tell these are a pair of simple iron gauntlets. You can add iron gauntlets to your inventory. They are a weapon.
Maurice Marjoram sort of trundles these gauntlets into his inventory with practiced ease. This isn't the first time he's filched people's shit before.
Cause Sander, he kind of, not gonna lie, he did kind of make a face when stuff got pried into. He was like a face of but that's all you can read from that right away. But he's going to, he'll walk us. The scroll was already out, right? Wasn't in.
Yeah,
anything.
it's just kind of rolled up. It's maybe knocked into the snow at this point because people have been opening
Yeah.
crates and throwing shit around. Yeah.
He will walk over because that wasn't locked up or you didn't need to pry open that. He will pick that up off the ground with a gloved hand and unroll it gingerly. What does it say?
Okay. It is a skill scroll. You can pick up the skill scroll Serenity.
Serenity. Is that passive or active?
I believe it's a passive.
Serenity.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry, you're not done.
I'm sorry, I'm just seeing what it does. Oh, I think it's active.
Oh, maybe. I'm a liar and a cheat and a sneak.
Serenity. As an action, user pauses to clear their head. This eliminates all temporary status effects. I'll just... Okay. Gauntlets. Perhaps these people were traders, or just normal folk.
I mean, considering that they had a book about how to kill and hurt people, perhaps they weren't so nice at all.
We'll
He
take
sort of bows his head a little bit, sort of kind of shoulders slumped, kind of a little bit defeated looking.
Is there, in the supplies, is there anything that's salty food?
Yeah, definitely there's salted meat in here.
Alright, while this conversation has been going on, Isidore has pulled out a package of like dried salted meat or whatever,
Jerky.
and it has managed to inhale like most of it.
Yum.
Same girl.
Cassander, for a moment, seems to be nodding about something. Not necessarily anything that was said to him, but he's just nodding as if somebody said something very correct to him. But then he kind of turns and notices Isidore eating this meat, and he does. Well, you shouldn't be taking that without paying.
Clover might pipe up like, "Who's there to pay?"
Well, these could be somebody's goods.
They're definitely dead at this point.
Perhaps they've just taken a walk. We're all taking a walk. We're not dead.
Do you typically leave all of your survival supplies on the side of the road in a wilderness environment and just take a walk?
Well, if the wagon broke down, perhaps they were searching for someone to come fix it, or to help them carry the heavy crates. Perhaps they left their workers at home.
While these two are discussing, is it okay if I
Mhm.
pop in? Okay.
Mhm.
While those two are discussing things, the Clover would kind of, it would kind of come to her mind, and some of her, experience. She isn't an adventurer, but she does often walk nature trails and the like. She would kind of examine the area to see if there's any footprints, that might have show that whoever left this here has wandered off, or
Go ahead
any
and make me a
anything
perception
like
check.
that. Okay, that is. Ooh, nice roll, Clover. Okay. Okay, so we're starting with that, and then that's perception, which is wisdom. Oh, if she doesn't notice something, I'm gonna be angry because she got a 34.
34. Well, you see exactly where the cart stopped next to you, this hypothetical cart, where there was a bit of shuffling around. The wheels dragged off and towards the tree. Footsteps back and forth, presumably unloading some of the cart. And then, it goes away back onto the road.
Alright.
There are,
So they're
two pairs of footsteps. So two.
and they just kind of trail off into the distance. They don't cut off or anything.
They don't cut off, but you notice there's also animal footprints. But they stop abruptly.
Okay. So she would kind of, like, she wouldn't wander off all that far, but she'd like kind of look at the footprints and clearly be investigating a little bit while the other two were talking, and kind of say, "Well, they went somewhere."
Sorry, I really need to pee. Can we take a
Oh
little...
yeah, let's take a piss break.
Cassandra going to
Take
take a piss
5
near the
minutes,
tree.
everybody.
All right.
Piss.
I'm all alone.
Well, I mean, you're not technically
Hi there.
alone. I'm going to get some ice cream.
Oh shit. Good choice.
Oh yeah. I have some in my
Hey, Twitch chat, how
fridge
you
for
doing?
that for the occasion. Hell yeah.
Twitch chat having fun in your little twitchy world? Are
Yeah.
you twitching? You twitching, son?
Are you winning, son?
Are you twitching, son? Oh, I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been having fun too. I've been
I was
really
afraid
looking.
Clover was be so useless. I'm so happy that she's actually helping.
It is wild how high and low Clover's. I did not expect that.
Girl's min-maxed, man. She is very good at like nature and wisdom and shit, but in combat she's probably gonna fall kind of short.
Ironically enough, Maurice Marjoram is sort of the opposite. Like this man is a tank in luck. He has 90 gross stat
Oh,
in
holy
luck.
shit. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
wild.
her wisdom modifier is 15. Okay. girl is small and young, but she knows stuff about things.
No, we
And also
love
her
her.
yeah, and her magic modifier is 11. All of her other modifiers are pretty pathetic though.
Goodness.
She was pretty min-maxed to be like the knowledgeable like in nature and animals and stuff like that.
No stuff
Because that
about
was more
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have this like thing that I want her to do, and I'm trying to remember it so that I can do it at the right time. cannot forget to do it. I'm like waiting for the right moment. And I'm just like, oh, hello. We were entertaining the Twitch chat.
Oh, so who's in there? Who's here?
Brandon Red.
Brandon Red. The dynamic duo.
That makes sense.
I do not know either of you or them.
I think there might be a friend or two of mine on there because I definitely did share the link around. I know that much.
If you're in the chat,
I
make
didn't.
some noise.
Maybe I should share it, I guess. Let me share it in my
Hi,
server.
Rams.
Why not?
For real.
I'll show it. I'll give it in my server. Why not?
Stop jiggling my boy around.
Also, if-
brain damage.
I don't know if you guys heard when I started fucking losing it earlier. It was because when you killed him on screen while
love to kill him
everyone
on
was
screen.
talking. And I was,
My birthday twin.
let me-
Yeah, your birthday. That's right. How does this feel? This is your brother.
This is he's my brother.
And
He's
this is
my
your
brother.
twin brother.
He's really like a Blorbo-in-law to me.
In-law. That's a good way to put
Sam,
it.
I'm just gonna call it D&D when I put it in my server because that's easier to understand.
Okay.
for people.
Do whatever you gotta do.
Or tabletop RPG, I guess.
TTRPG.
Yeah, the
Sorry, I'm
table
eating
we
a
talk.
candy. I think we're
You-
still waiting anyway. It's candy time.
I'm so excited to see
Candy
the government
time.
designed little guys that you made for us, Sam.
Oh, I
I'm
have some
really
guys in here.
excited.
Look at this empty space.
I'm
That I
so
made
Yeah,
for
excited.
you.
I've been wondering what that was about.
There's where your
Yes.
little guys will go.
I'm so
Little
excited for
guys.
the little guys. Yeah, one of my friends just said that they can't make noise because they're not logged in, but they are watching. Hi, Thea.
Sad. Hello. Hello, Spectre. Spectre of
Oh,
Pen's
wow.
friend. Sorry, let me get
Spectre
through this piece of
spectating.
chocolate and then I'm there.
Cassandra,
Yay.
like, wow, more ghosts.
Also, I do talk quieter when I try to do Clover. You all can still, like, hear me, right? I mean, it seems like it. Okay. I'm not voice acting, but I'm trying to not be my usual fucking loud-ass self when I'm doing it.
Alright. Hold on, let me take a sip. Hey!
Sippy sippy.
Sorry, what were we doing?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
in the woods.
animal tracks. Animal tracks disappeared in the woods.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and Clover kind of, was looking at. She didn't wander like off all the way, but she was looking at them, and she had mentioned like someone had definitely went somewhere from the wreckage, and she would probably point out that she would see the animal tracks as well. And you said they were like cut off. There was no sign of like a struggle or anything, right? It's just
well,
they're just gone, or
They end, and then it's kind of like the snow has been pushed as if something was dragged.
okay. So there's two sets of footprints. There's animal tracks. The animal tracks end, and then something was dragged.
Mhm.
What's the relation to the footprints to the dragged thing?
One of the footprints seems to have followed the drag marks, gone behind a tree, and then re-emerged. The animal does not follow.
The what? Huh?
The animal
cut
does not follow.
Okay. I'm not. How far are we going? If she kind of like goes.
It's like
Follows
20
behind
feet
that
away.
tree and stuff.
I'm gonna say it's 20 feet
Okay,
away.
so she's not like wandering super like far.
No,
off from
and
the
it's
group or
not like
anything.
a dense forest. It's like a very light. Like you can totally
Okay,
still
so
see
she's
the road.
definitely like investigating, the spot that it was, things happened and the
Mhm.
footprints changed and stuff cut off and everything. She's definitely looking around and, just taking notice of all the what could have possibly happened.
Sure. So as you follow the tracks, you don't have to make a perception check because it's immediately obvious what happened here. You find the
Oh.
corpse of a donkey behind one of the trees.
Oh. Oh well, Clover definitely calls the others over. Like, she wouldn't sound happy. She would just be like, she would just call the others over. She just fuck. What words would she say?
That thing.
Yeah, she'd just kind of trip over her own words. She'd just kind of be like, "There's that's what she'd say.
Cassander walks over and kind of makes like a little face, like but he doesn't seem surprised further than that. And he sort of tilts. He kind of pauses for a moment, and then tilts his head with a bit of. He's kind of been smiling this whole time, except when he thought you guys were doing crime. But he like a little bit of a smile, like, oh, another messenger.
Clover would kind of, she would definitely look very upset as the animal lover she is. She'd kind of, she would be, just visibly upset and kind of trembling, and she'd kind of kneel down a little bit to, clearly very upset at at the body of the animal in front of them.
Are there
Maurice,
any visible wounds on the animal?
Would you like to make a medicine check on the animal? Because
Sure, I
it's
can
kind of
fucking
a
try.
little powdered with snow, so you gotta get a closer look.
I was gonna say, I feel like that would be.
That's a 5.
It's dead.
Could I have Clover do one of those checks?
um,
Since she is kneeling down, so she'd also be closer to the animal as well. Okay, so we're doing that. Oh my god. Okay. And that's what is that one?
A medicine check.
Oh, okay, cool. So we got this. This girl does not get good rolls. She just has good modifiers. This and that 27.
You notice that the donkey's head appears to be twisted around as if its neck was snapped.
Okay.
Two of its legs are encrusted with ice in a way that does not seem completely natural, and its eyes are gone. But there's no blood.
Okay, Clover would kind of start retching. She'd because she she was kneeling down and but you said there was snow, so she might have kind of adjusted the snow and then seen what was in front of her, and she would kind of like scramble away a little bit and kind of start retching nearby.
Cassandra kind of walks over to her and puts a hand on her back. Also maybe pulls her hair away.
Maurice,
the girl's hair back.
Maurice Marjoram. By this point, you've mainly seen him having like a neutral to content expression on his face, but there's something about the sight of this donkey that actively gets him like sniffling, and sort of like his shoulders are heaving, like he's like trying to cry but no sounds are coming out, as he like gently, tenderly pats the snout of this dead animal. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't even put I'm sorry, I can't even put anything on your eyes. I'm sorry. You don't get to sleep nice.
Cassandra looks at you, at Maurice and Clover, the two visibly distressed folks here, and he simply goes, "Oh, do not fret. Somebody simply met their messenger today. I'm sure they were smiling."
Clover, like she'd still be kind of on the ground, trembling and stuff. But she would kind of be able to realize some of the information that she took in after a moment. And she would kind of you said that there was like ice on the legs that didn't look natural.
Yeah, it looks almost as if it was attacked with some form of ice magic, maybe.
Okay. She would definitely. I mean, she would definitely be like, in her, very distressed and upset, state. She'd kind of be like, something did that. Something bad.
Well, yes. That's what you do when you meet a messenger.
Can we bury him?
How long ago did it die?
Wanna make a medicine check about that?
I can fucking try.
Please do.
We can't add that into Clover's very high roll.
No, you may not. That's new information.
16.
16. I'm gonna say within the day.
Is it below freezing out?
It's like exactly freezing, I'm gonna say right now. It's like the sun's high in the sky, but it's much colder at night.
There's no sense burying it. There's good meat on it.
Maurice
again.
Maurice turns around. He's already gathered up some snow in his arms to at least try to sort of bury it. And then he looks over at Isidore with like genuine sorrow in his eyes and just doesn't say a word, dropping the snow.
You want to eat a messenger?
What is a messenger?
Well,
What are you talking about?
Somebody met their messenger.
That
There's no
doesn't
oth-
explain it.
Well, there's no other reason to attack something so violently.
He's a kind animal.
Well, now
I
he's
am curious about the specific damage. It's not just not just a casualty of a skirmish. It seems deliberate.
Clover would kind of because I don't know if the others have noticed because they didn't make checks for it. You said that the eyes were gone?
The eyes are gone, but they don't seem to have been like
Okay.
stabbed out. There's no blood whatsoever.
Okay. So Clover would just kind of say, she kind of like point over to it with a trembling hand and just be like, the eyes are gone.
Huh.
They didn't,
Yeah, that's huh.
they
That
didn't
is
want him.
strange.
They didn't
must have-
want him to see Donkey Heaven.
I love it.
Hey, hold on. Can Maurice make a quick history check for me?
Yeah, I can have him make a quick
Does
history.
Donkey Heaven exist here?
Does Donkey Heaven exist?
Does Maurice know something we don't?
Okay, so there's that, and then there's oh that's
Oh.
a negative. Okay, so then okay, okay, this is actually extremely funny. I'll let this stuff stand.
Maurice
He got
loses knowledge actively.
he got a 5.
You know what? Hopefully he's galloping up there in verdant fields of green with the other asses.
He,
Oh my god.
the thought of this gentle ass purgatory fills him with warmth.
Oh,
Well,
if I
you-
hadn't just recently changed my private Twitter name, that would be it.
Cassandra's.
Gentle ass purgatory.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But as you sing Donkey Heaven, Cassandra sort of tilts his head, and then goes, well, I was told messengers don't go to heaven, but perhaps there's an exception to this one.
There's got to be. There's got to be.
Well, I mean, there
Um,
could be, but I'm not sure if he's seeing it.
So, can I speak?
Yeah,
Or,
you can.
Okay. So Clover's still very upset, but she's also just scared because something did this, and she has learned enough from her husband in their time together before he left that she should figure out, do her best to figure out what that danger is and how imminent it is. So she kind of gather herself just enough to kind of turn back to the body of the animal. She'd still be trembling, but and she'd kind of take a closer look at the ice on the legs that you said was didn't seem natural, because she observed that it looked odd, but she's gonna take a closer look and try to discern if she can tell like what kind of thing could have caused that specifically.
Sure, go ahead.
What
You can do an anima magic.
okay, that'd be that. And okay, this magic 26.
26.
26.
It looks like just kind of a brutal magic attack. You don't really get a good idea of what could have caused it, just because magic doesn't have like claw marks or anything. But you could tell that like 3 of its legs are basically completely liquefied from the knees down and just solidified with ice.
Okay, because yeah, so she doesn't really learn any new information, but she tried her best. But she would just kind of kneel there for a minute. Her legs are probably fucking freezing at this point in the snow. And she would just be like, "We should get out of here."
Yes,
we should too.
we ought to go find whoever did this.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, surely they're hearing things.
What?
Well, surely
That was
they're
from me, not her.
enlightened.
So yeah, Maurice Marjoram does throw a few little piles of snow on the donkey, at least enough to like cover the quote unquote eyes, so that nobody's being distressed about it. And he sort of like he wipes away his tears, looks over and takes a breath. He's like, yes, let's get going.
Yes,
Don't want
we.
the sun to go
He and,
down.
he and Clover are gonna be besties by the end of this. If they
They are so
live long
gonna be
enough.
besties.
If they
No,
live
I-
long enough.
I would very much like to hear what this person is hearing, or know what they're saying. Clearly, they must have learned something new. That's what happens when you find a messenger.
Is anyone taking the ancient book of rituals?
Clover.
Okay, make sure that's in your
I
inventory.
was actually waiting for a moment to speak up about that. So if we're
Okay.
kind of going to be heading off,
Yeah,
then I
sure,
will
yeah.
speak up on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because she did see Cassander kind of toss it into one of the crates or something.
He
That's what he did, right?
put it down on a crate.
Yeah, he put it somewhere. So she knows that he doesn't want to bring it along. So she would kind of take a little note out of her husband's book, and she'd kind of wait until no one was really paying attention, and she would kind of toss it in her bag. Because clearly there's stuff in there that they should probably know, and as much as she doesn't like it, she would be like, she'd know that they should take it, but since she doesn't know, she knows the others might not want to, she'd kind of try to hide it. And I know it's really heavy, but D&D logic.
Yeah. It's in your
Well, not
inventory.
D&D.
Make
Yes,
sure
okay.
you put it physically into your combat inventory. It is a combat item.
Okay, that's an items.
Ancient book of rituals. Should be right
items.
near the top.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
Okay,
8th one down.
I'm
right
adding
here.
that. I will add that in. So she has it in her thing. I mean, I guess it depends if anyone was looking, if anyone saw her, or if I should do a check, or if anyone wants their character up and paying attention or whatever.
Did anyone see?
Cassandra's too busy
I-
fretting over this donkey.
I think that specifically after Murray Smartrum gets done burying the donkey, I think he does see it out of the corner of his eye, and he's a little bit concerned for Clover, but he's not gonna press the matter too much for now. I think if Clover starts reading the book a bit, he'll probably ask about it, but like for now, it's like, okay, that's fair.
Okay, so if he does see her do it, I guess I'll describe more that she definitely seemed uneasy while doing it. Like, she didn't seem conniving, like, ooh, I want to use this. She was visibly kind of like looking at it as though like she didn't really want to touch it, but she in the end decided that it would be better to have it than not, just in case.
Yeah, he can respect that. You could see him do a little nod, kind of apropos of nothing.
She probably didn't see it. She was too busy putting it in her bag. Clover's probably under the impression that nobody knows she has it, but she tried to be sneaky, but she's not the sneakiest person in the world. That's her husband's thing. But she is trying her best to follow what she has learned from him over their time together before he vanished.
All right. Well, if you guys are
Type
following the
Function
track,
is type, right?
yes.
Okay.
I believe. Hold on.
Effect.
Oh, function, you can just leave blank.
Okay.
Or you could put the type in, whatever pleases you. It's just an item, so it doesn't super matter.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Effect. And I leave damage blank because
Yeah, it has no damage.
Yes.
I guess you could hit people with it, but then it's improvised.
Yeah, I was about to say, what if she just fucking
Thump.
wham?
It probably packs a punch.
Yeah, Clover whamming.
My
She
encyclopedia.
wouldn't be able to lift it high enough.
Mhm.
Description. That's not okay. So all I need is to just
Yeah.
name an effect, basically, right?
And
Okay.
you're gonna have plenty of time before combat happens to explore this and modify your skills to your liking. I can explain in further detail. Once that
Oh,
it's
my
a
friend
good
is
time
here
to do
in
that.
chat. I mean,
What's up? Oh,
nothing.
hello.
I just noticed my friend is in the Twitch chat.
Hello and
Hi,
welcome.
Sketch.
All right. So, you guys are following the tracks back onto the road?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, can somebody make a traversal check for me and pick a sacrifice, a person to sacrifice?
Oh,
It shouldn't be me because I have a strength.
are we picking or are the characters picking?
You are the players.
Okay,
We are.
I'm-
Okay.
I have a very good traversal, if that's...
I'll be the sacrifice so
Okay.
that people will.
So, Annika, can
No,
you
that-
make
what
me a
that
traversal
does?
check, please?
Bruh.
Oh
Bruh.
no! We're gonna
What is
lose
Isidore lowing?
Cassandra's about to die, and God didn't even tell him to do that. Fucked up.
18.
Eight.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
no,
that's
you're good.
That's not too bad.
Um,
I thought you would get
I
like
rolled
5
a
or some shit.
I rolled a 4.
Ooh,
Nice.
Believe it or not,
Jeez.
Clover has been getting really low rolls. She just has
So-
really good.
What happens
But
to my boy
but Isidore
Sam?
has a dumb high strength stat and is also proficient at traversal. So
Mhm. So what happens to my boy?
Yeah.
Nothing
Also
happens
the
to
very high.
Cassander, actually. In fact, you guys have a pretty decent journey, and you find 5 herbs on the side of the road, Isidore. Or Isidore, sorry. I keep saying Isidore because that's a
Herb.
pathologic character.
Oh, Sam, I have a
Are
question
those-
for you
what- are
directly
those
in
a
terms of mechanics.
Hold on,
Combat thing.
hold on. Annika's still... What?
Sorry.
non-combat,
They're a
or do they
material.
do something?
They're a material.
Oh, they're a material. Oh, I see. How many? 5?
5.
Nice.
And Kaylee,
What
what's
can I
up?
make with herbs?
Yes, sorry, my bad. The sacrifice thing, right? We like picked a would it is does, like or do we pick a different person every time? I assume,
You can,
or would it?
you can pick
we
the same
just throw
person
the
every
same
time.
person into
Yeah.
danger every time?
for sure.
Okay.
You
Okay,
could
okay.
sacrifice
That's
them
what-
for good things.
Like not. I wasn't like. I just wanted to ask a mechanic.
It's
so.
it's in the traversal section in the manual.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
literally just
Yeah,
control
'cause
F.
I didn't really know what to
travel-
look for.
traversal. You good.
Okay.
But yeah, all right. So you guys continue walking, and eventually the weather does, turn for the worse. It's starting to get dark, and it's starting to get windy, but it's not quite dark enough yet where you have to stop. And as you're walking, can you all 4 of you make a perception check for me?
Yippee!
Wahoo. Yahoo.
That's 13.
Okay.
Okay. Where the fuck
19.
is my sheet? Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
So, perception.
Yes, please.
When it comes to proficiency bonuses, how do we apply that?
If you're proficient, you add the bonus.
24 for Clover.
Okay, so that would be going ahead and
If you're
pulling that
negatively
up.
proficient, you subtract.
So then 23, I believe, if I applied that right.
Okay. Anyone who got above a 15, was that all of you?
No, Cassandra got a
So-
13.
oh,
He's
all
looking
right.
at the sky.
Cassandra's thinking
He's
about
listening to God.
sauces, much like I do often.
He sure is thinking about sauces.
Actually,
Yeah,
hold on. I'm
both
gonna
He's lost in the sauce.
hold on. I'm gonna give something else for Cassandra to think about. There you go.
Oh,
So, everyone else, you guys see the vague form of what appears to be either a cart or a wagon, something on the side of the road, with a couple figures moving around it. They're still a bit far off, and it's windy, so the snow's kicking up. But, yeah, there's people ahead of you on the path.
Clover stops walking immediately. And she's also
Yeah.
shivering and really cold and freezing. And she's not happy.
Isidore's going to
She's-
pause and kind of raise a hand in a let's stop here. Quickly give a series of hand motions, register that they won't mean anything to anyone else, and then just kind of stand there.
I'll be perfectly honest. Cassandra isn't paying attention to any of this. He's walking ahead still, looking
Clover
upwards.
is kind of holding herself to keep warm from the cold, but when she sees that Cassandra's still moving, she just kind of, there's people up there.
Maurice
Perhaps they know where the store is.
Maurice Marjoram, he opens his mouth and like tries to think very hard about something to say to get these people's attention. And instead he just yells, "Hoy!"
What is he?
Clover immediately.
What is he
What is
yelling?
he now?
Oi!
Oi!
Oi.
Okay, got it.
Wait, not oi, hoy.
Hoy?
H-O-Y.
Hoy!
Hoy. No reason.
Hold on.
Clover
I'm gonna
immediately
have a
goes-
series of units make a perception check.
Well, Clover just looks at him like he's crazy and just, what are you doing?
I thought they might be friends. I tried to think of something else to say, but my brain wouldn't think of good thoughts.
Oh, there
Clover,
are
this
people ahead.
Clover, this absolute sweetheart, is just like, don't you remember the donkey?
The people on the road have stopped moving around. They're not
Oh.
approaching
Clover
you, but
hides
they've
behind
stopped
Maurice.
moving.
Cassandra is
Maurice
still
kinda-
kind of wandering there.
They're like 100 or so feet away.
Yeah.
Maurice kind of does shield Clover a bit.
Excellent.
Paternal instinct, baby.
Excellent.
Um,
No, go on.
Isidore's gonna kind of step forward, one hand on her sword hilt, and then turn back to the others and say, "If I give a signal, I need you to find cover immediately. Understood?"
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, while that's happening, I think he's continued. So probably like I would say by now because he's kind of been walking this whole time. He's probably like halfway between
Yeah,
them.
Cassandra, you
and-
want to make a perception check on this little group here?
He would love
Because you're close
to.
enough to see them.
Yeah. He got a 21.
21. Okay, yeah, you can see exactly this little
21?
group here. So it strikes that there's 3 people immediately huddled around what looks to be some sort of cart. You're not exactly sure what the situation here is, but you see a guy standing off to the side, kind of like adjusting he was adjusting the canvas on the cart before noises happened. There is a person like huddled up next to him, like almost like penguin style. You are my warmth.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another guy squatting in the snow, messing with one of the wheels. And as you approach, all 3 of them look at you. And 2 of them look to the guy who's adjusting the canvas, who just continues to adjust the canvas.
Wait, so
Are you the folks that left that donkey there?
The man who is adjusting the canvas actually turns around this time and, not looking at you, says, "Oh, someone there?"
Yes. One of my companions made quite the shout.
Is that what that was? I thought it might be the wind.
I think it was him, yes.
must have been the wind.
You found our donkey.
Oh, yes.
I see. Well, apologies, I suppose. And then he goes back to fixing the canvas.
Well, there's nothing to apologize for. Are you all headed this way too?
I suppose you could say that. And then the person leaning into his side kind of like looks up at him. Do you want to make like an insight check on this person?
Yeah.
Raise his hand while they do that. Can the rest of us hear this?
You're too far away. You want to come closer?
Can I?
Yeah,
I mean, Clover
Isidore
follows the
has-
rest of them.
yeah. Isidore started making her way towards the
That's
still with caution.
Yeah, Maurice
That's-
Marjoram is definitely making his way forward.
Clover's
I
using
see.
Maurice as a meat shield, so she goes where he goes.
I got an 18.
18. All these people are wearing like heavy cloaks due to the weather. But you can see that this person appears to be kind of young, on the younger side, but you don't have any super details. They're still pretty far away. They're kind of like not looking up at the guy, but like making an expression of like, why are we talking to this person?
Cassandra will add, well, I'll be honest, I sort of forgot about the other 3, but I hear holy men walk here, so I'm following.
The smaller penguinish person, who doesn't actually look all that like a penguin,
Yeah.
kind of slides out from behind their buddy, says, "What do you need with holy men?"
Oh, they have lots to say, and I thought perhaps they could help me with my predicament.
Yeah, I got a couple things to say to you. This person has come out enough past their presumed friend that you can get a good look at them. Appears to be a young person, barely like 20, you'd guess, at the absolute maximum, and they are wearing cleric's robes.
Oh, I like this guy.
A proper little lad.
Child.
Can I make a history check to see if there's any specific, I don't know, denomination or from where these robes might hail from? Okay.
While they're doing that, we're close enough at this
That's
point to see as well, right?
Yeah, you can catch a look at this guy. His cloak kind of
27.
like billows back. You can see him.
Okay.
He grabs his hood and like pulls it back over his head like, it's cold!
Okay. Well, they're
the
I got it.
28?
27.
27. You don't know a specific denomination that these robes belong to. You don't see any holy symbols. You don't see any goddish iconography, but you can tell they're kind of like, they're very commoner. Like, this is not a big fancy guy from any sort of big city. This is like a common cleric from some town as far as
I
aesthetics
see.
go. He's incorporated
Okay.
rope into his outfit as like a belt.
I
So not big money
see.
here.
Sorry.
He.
Or-
Go on.
I was just gonna do a roll for Clover to see if, rather than a nomination or anything, if she just literally recognizes this man from anywhere, or like if she's seen
Oh
him
yeah,
before,
sure.
like
Go ahead.
just like because you said he seems like he's from like a town or rural town or something like that.
Sure, go ahead. You can make it just like a
And-
perception check.
Clover comes from that type of area, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'll have Maurice Marjoram roll too. I'm curious.
Sure. Make some perception checks.
Okay.
Like, girlies are perceiving.
We are staring at this fucking guy. Sorry,
Uh,
Andy, I'm
22
just getting
for
incredibly
Clover.
close, pulling out magnifying glasses. Do I know you?
22 for Clover.
You do not recognize
Dirty
this man.
20.
You do not recognize
Ooh.
this guy.
So Clover does recognize him. What does she recognize?
No, she doesn't.
Like, oh, she doesn't. I
does
thought you
not.
said does.
Does not.
I was like,
Mhm.
question
You
mark?
don't know
She
this
does.
guy. You don't know this guy.
Okay, we do not know this guy. Okay.
Yeah, Maurice doesn't know this guy either.
Nope. Nobody knows this
What?
guy.
He has made himself. Well, he responded to the holy men bit. So Cassandra will. How tall is this guy?
What's up?
Short. How tall is this guy?
He's like 5'3".
Okay,
He's not
so he's
very
much
big.
shorter than. Okay, Cassandra. Well,
He was
Cassandra,
hiding in the shadow of the other guy.
Yeah. Cassandra looks down at him like, oh, like holy man, smiley face. That's why I'm out here. Well, good. I was starting to think the rumors weren't true, or that what I had heard was wrong.
Rumors?
Well, about holy men walking.
Yeah, I walk often. Where?
Towards the town.
Oh, are you okay? You know, I don't know if you've heard the recent news. You know, Alfie, can you talk to these people? And he turns around towards the guy who's fiddling with the tent. And as he does so, not only does quote unquote Alfie turn around, but the guy who's fiddling with the wheels kind of like perks up a bit. He's like, "Oh my God, there's people here." He did not know
Yeah.
there were people here. So Alfie is going to put his little ties down, and he's going to put on a very nice smile, and with his eyes closed, he's going to walk onto the road to stand next to his little buddy here. And this guy is much larger than his friend, and he's much nicer dressed. He looks like this. He's got either a cane or a walking stick. You're not quite sure with the snow, and you can clearly see he is got like, you know, weaponry on him. He's got a little staff. You're not sure if that's a tome on his hip or just a book, but this maybe the muscle of the group. And he says, "Oh, you're headed towards Siren's Rock, are you?"
Indeed. I believe all of us were.
Well, I'm
Is it-
so sorry to break the news to you, because you seem like lovely folks, but it's not open for visitors at the moment. I suggest you turn around.
Is it all right if I have Maurice Marjoram come into the conversation here?
Sure, you can all
like-
be in the conversation.
Yeah, Maurice Marjoram, at this, he finally approaches and he gets a good look at these people, including the shorty little cleric and this person with like sort of like the hearts on their robes, which obviously he nods with approval. There's something very benevolent about this person. He trusts them.
Okay.
And he goes, "What do you mean it's not open for visitors?"
Oh, well, you see, well, rumors abound. They say it's simply not there anymore. We're professionals gone to investigate. I suggest you turn around.
Can I pop in?
Of course.
Okay. I'm bad at telling when people are done talking.
It's okay.
So that's why I interrupt sometimes because I legit am like, oh, they're done, and then they're not. But so you said Maurice kind of approaches a little closer. Clover kind of followed behind, but she eventually kind of lags back a little bit, to a bit nervous of these people. But when you describe the person that, like the guy that we're currently talking to, you told us his eyes were closed. Does that mean that we noticed his eyes are closed?
Yeah, he's still standing there with his eyes closed.
Okay. So Clover, having the wisdom and the, just logic that she does, she'd kind of look at him, and still having that donkey with no eyes ingrained in her head, she would kind of look at him and be a little nervous and just be like, "Why aren't you looking at us?"
Oh. The younger man is going to, not look up at his friend, but he's gonna, like, angle his head a little bit, like, and the older man just kind of smiles a little bit. He says, "Oh, I don't mean to be rude. I just simply don't have eyes."
Clover immediately is just very, very shaken and kind of takes a step back, thinking back to the donkey that did not have eyes either, and she would just be like, "Why not?"
And the guy next to him says, "Oh my gosh, you are so rude."
She's fucking scared, man.
And his companion says, "Oh, well, it's not a recent development. I just simply don't."
Do forgive my companion. She's still a bit shaken by that messenger we saw.
You'd pass
Yeah,
a messenger on the road?
visibly.
Oh, well, the donkey.
Oh, that
She'd be
was
very visibly shaken.
that wasn't a messenger. It that was our cart donkey. It didn't make it the rest of the trip. It was no messenger.
Oh.
A simple pack animal.
he does
Unfortunate,
see-
but these things do happen.
Maurice Marjoram frowns at this comment.
Well. Oh, no messenger.
Clover pipes
Well,
up again. Clover
was-
pipes up again. Oh
Mhm.
no, or doesn't.
No, go ahead.
Just the conversation. I swear she's usually nicer than this. But she would say, "What happened to it?"
The donkey?
Yes.
Oh, well, it, I suppose you could say it fell on the road, and, well, we don't really have the supplies to be fixing animals, so we, put it out of its misery. Unfortunate, but these things do happen.
She.
And
You seem disturbed, young lady. I apologize if it upset you.
Yeah. She'd just kind of be looking at them very, very nervously, and just be like, "That was an attack."
What else are they to kill it?
Well,
I didn't hear you.
perhaps
Well,
it,
how?
perhaps it did come across some less than friendly wildlife in the area, and that's why it was injured. But I assure you, nothing to be worried about.
Okay,
Can
I need.
Oh, wait. I was just gonna make a check to see if this guy's telling the truth.
Sure, go ahead.
And I needed I
insight.
need a refresher. When you described the eyes of the donkey when Clover was taking that closer look than she probably should have, you said there was no like injury or
No
blood or
blood.
anything. They were just gone,
They
right?
were just gone.
Okay, yeah. So she would be like, and its eyes.
The younger man speaks and says, "It was born that way."
How does a blind donkey pull a cart?
The same way a blind man leads the donkey, and Alphios, which is his full name, kind of waggles his staff back and forth, which you can see is actually a blind man's cane.
Press F to doubt.
There, the roll I got was like I think around 11 or so.
You're not sure. You don't know this man well enough to tell if he's lying. He certainly seems friendly enough, but who the hell is immediately rude to people on the road?
Clover can't. Wow. Okay.
No.
She is traumatized. Okay. She got a closer look at that donkey than anyone else. But I mean, obviously, she can't tell if the guy is lying or not, and I'm not going to roll for that. She just doesn't trust him because of just the connection that seems to be going on. But, she doesn't know what's going on, obviously. She's just like, man with no eyes, donkey with no eyes, dead on road. Bad.
Mhm.
The
Girl scared.
The man with no eyes is going to put his cane down, kind of sensing that you are not vibing with the energy he's putting out into the world right now. He's going to say, I think we might have gotten off on perhaps a strange foot here. After all, we're all traveling on the same road together. And well, you can call me Alphios. This is my young ward. His name is Conlith, and the little blonde man kind of makes like a face like, and then he turns around and he gestures to the guy who's still kind of like leaning against the wheel a little bit. Says, sorry, what's your name again? And the guy next to the wheel stands up abruptly and comes on forward, still holding his tools, and he says, you can call me Stathis. And he kind of like waves a bit, and he's clearly like trying to put all his shit back in his belt. He apparently was just fixing the cart, and here he is. There's Stathis.
Oh, what a nice
Eyes
little
emoji.
fellow.
Quick
Eyes emoji.
question.
Yes.
Was Maurice Marjoram reading the note about alphas? Like the
That
little
was-
journal
That was
thing?
I was
Cassander.
actually, and I was
Yeah,
gonna
that was
say,
Cassander.
Cassander, he still has that. It was the kid who said Alfie, right?
It was.
Okay, well, Cassander, remembering he has this, will go, oh, forgive me for snooping, but I do believe this is yours. And then he will extend the book to him.
The kid kind of like reaches out in front of him as if searching for something in the air, and says, What do you have?"
Oh, your book. And then he will
My
like
book. And he kind of like steps forward like very aggressively to snatch it out of your hand, like, you.
Forgive me. We found your cart, and well, I'll be honest, I mistook it for a trading route of some sort, and I thought that might be a ledger keeping track of some things. I did not know it was someone's personal belongings.
Did you read it?
I did, but I did not read it aloud.
He hisses and turns around and opens the book, and you can see him feeling along the frozen wax as if to like remind himself what the last thing he wrote down was. He lets a breath out and he says, "Well, thank you for returning it." And he shoves it inside of his cloak.
Of course.
Is there anything else you pilfered from our things?
Well, here, and then he will pull out the Serenity Scroll and hand that over. I found this in the snow, and I do believe we found a book. And my friend there did eat some of your meat.
Clover remains silent.
I told them it was best. I told them it was best not to.
The only thing that emits from Maurice Marjoram's frame is a very tiny Turgis. Nothing else.
This noise. I think Alphios will turn upon hearing the book part specifically. He doesn't seem to care much about the scroll. He says, "Oh, I don't suppose you left that where you found it, did you?"
Well, I meant to. I mean, I put it back.
Okay.
Seems like a bad idea to have.
It's definitely a text that can do harm if you don't know what it does. Like I said, we're professionals.
Is that why you left it out in the woods?
Well, after the donkey took a spill, the wheels went not far after, and unfortunately we only picked up a wheelwright after we had ditched the things, so there was simply just not enough space left in the cart to drag it. I'm strong, but I'm not that strong.
Understandable. Have you been hauling the cart?
Oh, yes. It's all pretty straight, even road. Not an issue.
Mhm.
And then from the cart, you hear a woman's voice say, "We're wasting a lot of time."
Can I look and see this lady, perhaps? Would that
Sure,
be
you want to make a
perception?
perception check to the cart?
Yeah. That is a 21.
21. You see that it is kind of like haphazardly been repaired, presumably by this Stathis guy. But prominently featured on the top of the cart you didn't notice before is the form of a sitting person draped in thick dark cloth. Hold on, where is she? There she is.
Oh.
Okay.
Sus.
Given sand plague.
There is the form of a person draped in thick dark cloth, and she speaks. I'm not doing an accent, but she speaks with an incredibly thick accent.
Oh, do we recognize it? Can I recognize it? Can I roll?
You can make a history check.
Okay. Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna have Maurice Margaret make a history check as well. Maybe he recognizes someone.
All right. Clover got 21.
21. Can I hear what Maurice got to?
He got an 11.
Maurice, you don't know shit. Clover, you don't know exactly. You can't identify the region. But it almost to you, it almost feels like this is the accent someone would hypothetically have if they spent a lot of time speaking like arcane or a similar magical language.
Okay. She wouldn't say anything.
The way
but
they like roll
notice
the A's and the R's.
Okay, she would take note of this. You know, she wouldn't comment at all. She's kind of after her delightfully rude session with the man. She has just kind of shrunk back and probably is just kind of she's definitely keeping her distance. She probably isn't thrilled about not having anyone in front of her. She definitely seems very nervous and kind of like mousy, like she's kind of gripping her fucking staff. Just definitely looking. She's just not enjoying herself. She's very scared and obviously doesn't be here.
The form of the person, the woman, does not turn to even acknowledge you as she's saying all these things.
It falls to Maurice Marjoram to pick up the stead of being accidentally rude as hell. As he notices this woman figure and he looks up at her and he goes, "Mom, why are you covered in some form of blanket?"
I'm sorry, I thought you said mom.
Yeah, I totally thought you just called her mom.
You know what?
Mommy?
Mommy,
Mommy?
is that you?
Let's stick with it.
Mommy?
No, that would be the twist.
Mommy?
You said-
Sorry.
No, the woman does not answer. Can you make an insight check on the silence she leaves in her wake?
Okay. Oh goodness, the silence. Why is it now that Maurice starts rolling high already? Is it
He
perception or
took Clover's
insight?
luck.
Perception. Or insight.
15.
15? The brief moment of silence can't come across as anything but haughty to you. And Alfie steps forward to cut in and he says, "Well, it's quite cold, and Lady Gracia appreciates her privacy."
Ah, I see. I thought she just wanted to sleep.
Well, perhaps that too. How about you cease disturbing her? And he kind of like
Okay, alright.
goes for your arm a little bit. He misses, and he gets you like behind the back and kind of like nudges you, like, "Okay, get a little bit further away."
Maurice Marjoram is so shook that he just kind of lets himself be guided along a little bit like a dog that doesn't know what it's doing. Big dog, unaccustomed to being held.
Sander just kind of, I'll be honest. He looks at Clover. He looks at Maurice. He looks at both of them again. And then he turns back to the two, he's not addressing the hooded lady. She does not want to be addressed. But back to, what are their names? Alfie and...
We got Alphios, we got Conleth, and
Alphios.
Stathis is also here.
Alright. To the two visually impaired fellows who've been doing most of the talking. And
That's gonna be the theme of this campaign, I think.
I do hope you can forgive my companions. I had no idea they were so rude. I only just met them today.
Conleth, kind of like stands there and be like, well, you fit right in, so. And then Alphios in the background just kind of waves his hand. He lets go of Maurice. He says, it's no worry. It's no worry. The cold confuses. I'm sure, all of us can agree we're at our wits' end as well. And he kind of gestures out towards, Conleth, who doesn't respond, and Stathis, who nods, heavily. And this is, we were, well, taking a quick break to make sure the other wheels of our cart weren't, about to meet the same fate as their companions. And then we were going to, make our way towards our lodgings for the night. Are you interested in following?
Oh, that
Wait,
would be preferable than just sleeping out here.
I think if you slept out here, you would die. Genuinely.
Perhaps.
I just sorry, is that
No, you're
can I okay. I just remembered something, which I guess means Clover just remembered it as well. But
Oh, I just
well, I
opened
need a
Steam.
refresher.
No,
Huh?
you're good. Sorry, I just opened Steam by accident, but I got rid of it.
Mood, honestly, I hate. I need a bit of a refresher. Clover would remember better than I do. She does not have the affliction ADHD. She the when we looked at the tracks earlier, you said something was dragged, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
the dragging led to the donkey, right?
Yes.
Okay, she remembers that.
Mm-hmm.
And that it did not look like the donkey fell.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it was dragged. And she remembers that. And they were just and then we were fucking now I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
What was
Did you
just
have a
happening? We were
question
being
for one of them?
invited. What?
Did you have a question for one of them about the donkey?
She wasn't going to ask anything specifically. They were the conversation Cassandra was just having. They were going somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna follow these guys to their lodgings.
Okay. Yeah, Clover's very hesitant, because she just remembered that the donkey was dragged behind that tree and that there was no sign of the donkey falling over. Before that point, like it didn't seem like a natural thing from what she could discern from the tracks.
I think didn't he tell us that he killed the donkey?
He did say he put the donkey out of its misery.
They said the donkey.
Yeah,
Didn't
so
they say the donkey like fell and then they had to kill it because it was like
Yeah.
It was attacked
Yeah.
by something, wildlife.
or it got attacked. I think he said it got attacked after the fact, but like it got, from what I gather, it got hurt. So he killed it, presumably by snapping its neck, and then dragged it over there.
okay. Maybe I'm remembering the conversation wrong then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought I remembered them saying like yeah because they got injured. Well, either way, Clover's very hesitant. That's what matters here.
Can Cassandra make an insight check on Clover to see if she's, just to confirm that she's hesitant about like donkey still?
Perception check on if girl is scared.
Yeah, insight check. Yeah. Well, he's trying more like insight check to determine like, oh, this is what this is about, rather.
I see. Okay.
So he got a 16. So what does he get with that?
Is that for me or Sam?
Yeah, no,
That's for
it's for you. So you're gonna tell with a
Oh, it's for me?
16. What does he glean with a 16 about Clover's current emotion state of mind?
Oh well, I mean she's just she's not really hiding it at all, so he'd probably get a pretty good idea if he decided to like take a look at her. She's just eyeing the people with like she definitely looks scared. Like it's not malice in her eyes. It's these people might hurt us. That she has. It's like a scared like mouse in a corner type of thing.
Cassandra kind of does like a little like, not like, he's still smiling, but he does like a little sigh, Like, oh, really now, Miss Clover, you must get over things dying. I mean, I've done things before, and you've been traveling with me.
Clover would
It's just
just
a donkey.
Clover would just kind of hesitate and look at him and be like, "Something happened to that donkey."
Yes, it
Hold
got
on,
hurt.
I'm
so
gonna
they
have,
killed it.
I'm gonna
Yeah, no
have
shit. No, she didn't say
Alphias and
I'm
Gang make
talking
a
to
perception check.
Not you. Like, as in the way she said it, I'm like, yeah, Clover, you think? But she's just like, this girl is not accustomed to this feeling like she's in danger, and it's kind of clear that she's been pretty sheltered, and that's kind of obvious. Like, she doesn't give the air of like, oh, she was a rich girl that was inside. Like, she just obviously is not used to feeling in danger, and she is not coping well.
You're walking out to the ice where a town has gone missing. I suggest you
As
get used to dead things.
as this is going on, can I have like Maurice Marjoram is getting increasingly more stressed about this whole thing that's going on. And he has no idea how to defuse this tension that has been happening. And he's very sad thinking about this donkey. And he needs to get it out somehow. So, ergo, can I have him pull out his lightweight harp and start trying to play it?
Sure, make a performance check.
Alright.
We got a portable radio.
Got a portable radio. Okay, so then
I think as you're pulling out the harp, before you even start playing it, Conlith, who's like stage whispering, he wants you to hear what he's saying, but like he's also talking to his buddy there, kind of like elbows Alphios in the chest to be like, "Oh my gods, we've stumbled upon a circus on the road.
Wow, and they were
I
calling
didn't
Clover
realize
rude.
they had clowns this far north."
it's he got a 16.
16? Yeah, you perform a serviceable memorial song regarding the donkey.
As I know you said that he was whispering loud style. Cassandra just sort of tilts his head like, oh, I see the rudeness is mutual.
Also, I'd like to be more specific on how Clover reacted to Cassandra's thing, because my brain was buffering as to how she would respond.
He was like, yeah, I've killed things.
You know, like, you're here, get used to it type of thing. She wouldn't really say anything. She'd just kind of look a bit defeated and kind of just clearly something inside of her is hurting, and she'd just kind of shrink back and look not just, I don't know how to describe it, but like her heart has obviously sank, and she is dejected. Yeah, she'd just kind of be like, not. She's clearly unhappy being here, and it's obvious that she's not here for the fun of it. So she wouldn't really say anything. She'd just kind of accept what he said and look very defeated.
I like to... Oh wait, you go.
He does like. Perhaps he notices. He notices.
And she would look away and look at the ground.
Shift. But he doesn't really say anything. He just kind of continues to look. He just kind of looks at you again with that impassive smile of his, as if he said something that he thought was, rather obvious.
I like to imagine at this point that tiny little Turgus has joined in to his
singing.
Yeah, tiny little Spud singing. Spud song.
Beautiful. Wow.
It's so delightful.
We appreciate the offer of potential shelter. And I do not mean to further impose, but is it possible that you have goods that you'd be willing to spare in your trade? I'm specifically looking for fresh bandages, and kind of gestures vaguely to her very nasty bandage on her face.
Conleth will kind of just like make a face as Stathis looks over at him, like pointedly, like obviously this guy has bandages sort of look. And after a solid 30 seconds of him not offering, his buddy will kind of like, Alphios kind of like nudge him a little bit, and he'll say, "Oh, I suppose I could help you with that.
It would
So
be
could I-
appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Could I make a like suggestion or something?
What?
I'm having trouble following the names. Is there any way we could have like
Yeah.
the names
You know what?
shown with
How
the images
convenient.
in some way?
They're joining your party.
Okay, because I'm like, I am okay. There we go. Because I'm like, I could not remember who was who. I'm like, who was talking? Who is this? Thank you. That is very
Speaking of,
helpful.
they've
Thank you
joined
so
your
much.
party. So, that
Give me their
means...
sheets.
That means I get to give you their sheets. Give me one
Yay.
moment to gather their sheets from my secret folder where I keep all the fucked up shit. What?
Oh, I really don't like Gracias.
Why not?
That's so
He
unnerving.
looks like a Greek statue.
That's a lady.
You don't like women? You're not a
I
fem?
love
Wow. Okay.
Alright, hold on. Mini
Also,
campaigns.
I like how I made this like super sweet girl, and like she's supposed to be like this, like, oh, everyone has good in them type of character, but she got so fucked up by that donkey that she's just like, who are these people?
Now you
Who
now
are
you
they? What do
know.
they want?
Alright,
This girl is not built for this.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Don't look at the folder. It moved the entire folder. Don't look in there. Don't look in there. I don't know why the fuck it did that.
Mm.
Sam accidentally dumps a bunch of classified documents. To the
I
shared
did.
folder.
Hold on. Don't look yet. Don't even think about it. I'll kill you. It doesn't want to load
Do
now.
not perceive.
Now it's stuck there. Hold on. Piece of shit.
Lamau.
Lucky
Move.
for you, I wasn't gonna look at them yet
Move.
anyway.
Move. Okay, they're out of there. 1 second. Let me figure out why
I
the
like
hell
that.
it just chose to do that.
I like Alfio so much, but Maurice Marjoram is a fucking geriatric himbo.
Geriatric
Clover's
Himbo sounds like a
just-
great band name.
Thought he was like 40.
He's like, yeah,
I'm
he's
gonna
like
move these
40s, 50s. Like, yeah,
individually.
no,
Move.
he's a menace, is what he
Oh, wait,
is.
You know what? I'm
Moving
honestly
Gracia.
happy with this development with Clover because, like, if she was gonna be one of those, like, oh, we can trust anybody, that would be boring.
Alright, hold on. Did it go in the right place? Yes! Okay, I'm adding them one by
I love
one.
when characters
Gracia's in
write
the
themselves.
folder. I'll pull them all up on the screen. We can explore together. Move.
I'm
Stathis.
I'm thinking about that thing on the document where all our characters must have at least one eye, and I'm getting very nervous as to what's gonna happen to Alphios,
I
considering
have-
he has no eyes.
I have no idea what you could mean. Alright. This one. Okay. Conleth and Alphios.
Can't believe Conleth has taken Clover's spot as baby.
Sorry.
Bitch. Fucker. Asshole.
Should both be baby. Alright, so,
Clover still has the better baby vibes.
wow, Google is
Better
now
baby
really...
Reign
vibes.
supreme.
We can make a
Better
better,
baby.
more powerful baby. So I'll pull up Alphios first. If you guys want to explore, they're in your folder. You're welcome to look at them. This is
I'm
Alphios.
kind of fascinated.
We got Conley.
Bios is a
We got
Why is he a monster type, Sam?
What do you mean? They're crossed out. He's normal.
Oh,
Oh, that's
just so you know, the sheets are on view only to us right now, but you can fix that
gotcha.
later.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
Can I say I love like Clover is clearly like traumatized by this donkey, and Cassandra's just like, get over it, bitch. Like, what's wrong with you?
I don't know if you can tell, but Cassandra's a little
him.
comfortable with death.
I love him. I love the like complete like even though we have two magic users, or I think question mark, the other two are weapon users, right? I don't know, but I know we have like two magic users, but they are like on opposing sides of the situation they're in. Love it.
Oh, I forgot to put
And they're
Gracia's art.
even both redheads. Holy shit! Oh my god, long lost family.
All right, there we go. So all the 4 sheets are in there.
Slash J.
Why don't you take a couple minutes to poke through them, see if you have any questions.
I see. They're the listeners, so they're not allowed to see.
Wait,
they gotta
where-
listen.
did you link these? I don't
They're
see
in
them.
the same
There.
folder that everything else is.
It's
pinned.
which
I'm
is
so curious to take a look at Gracia's sheet. Lady
Yeah,
Gracia,
she's
no
just their
movement.
boss. Oh. Somebody's been eating beast bits, I see. Gracia. With the radiant.
beast eater.
Yeah.
Carried palanquin.
Stathis. I guess
What?
he's just their guy who's here.
Oh my god!
Oh, Stathis is just a nice boy. Look at him, just
Sorry,
a nice
that was
fellow.
meant for my mom, not you guys.
Oh.
Wait, that's not an NPC. Time. Your name sounds like I was like, oh, that's one of the new characters. No, stop.
Yeah.
That is a person in our chat
Mhm.
currently. Proof of how bad with names I am. Holy shit. Okay.
What is
This one is a new.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What's oh
This worries me.
no? Which
Oh
part?
no.
Which guy is worrying you?
I'm like I'm looking very specifically at how he has Alphios has crossed out unfathomable
Well, yeah,
carnage.
because he's not a monster type right now, so you can't use
Yeah,
that.
he's just a guy.
Right now?
Yeah,
He's
because
just
he's
a
got a
man.
thin shawl on, so that nullifies his special types. Normally, he's an unholy monster. I'm sure this is a normal fellow.
He's just a guy. He's a nice gentleman.
The fact that Gracia has ultraviolet light concerns
I
me.
like I'm sorry, I need to I like how the fact that his eyes have been gouged and removed reduces his depth perception.
Yeah. He
Like,
can't.
yeah.
Well, both of them. Stacking times
Yeah.
2. He just doesn't get them anymore.
It's like
He's reduced
like
it
yeah,
to
my
0.
eyes are missing, so I can't see depth, sorry.
Mm-hmm. We can't.
It's like, yeah, you can't see anything, my guy. It's like you don't say.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Conlith. He seems like a little shit.
Oh, what gave you that impression?
Hmm. How old are these fellows, by the way?
I'm gonna say that Alphios is probably like early 40s, maybe
Mhm.
40s.
Mm-hmm.
But like he's well put together, but also grizzled. Like he's
No, yeah,
seen
yeah,
some
yeah.
shit, but also like he's cleaned up. Conleth is between the ages of 17 and 20, you're not sure. Stathis is probably in his 20s. Like he seems to be young-ish. And Gracia is a bedsheet ghost. Unclear.
Edgy.
Oh.
Her voice sounded
I
like a
have a-
mature, like older woman. Or like a
I have
adult
a
woman.
question
Yes.
They all have
I have
a
a- about Conleth. You said like the details of like, oh, he reaches out and misses a thing, and like, oh, he felt the. Did we need to make rolls for that, or can we just say they could tell he's blind?
No, if I tell you, then you know.
Well, you technically didn't say he is blind.
You're welcome to infer.
Okay. I
It's
don't
also
know
on
the-
his sheet
know.
there.
It's also it's
yeah,
also
but that doesn't mean our
on his sheet.
characters know that. That doesn't mean our characters know that.
I think because we'll
Our
also
characters
find
don't
his, like,
know about the other guy
braille book.
being a crossed off unholy monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is with men.
You know how it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're
I
right.
do enjoy this batch of guys, though.
Like the guys I've cooked for you.
Yeah,
My
like little
big pot.
40
He likes the
guys.
inside of my
man.
bucket.
Yeah, I reach in.
Which
Oh,
one was
there's-
wet?
There's a man.
Which one was wet?
Depends on your actions.
This was really... Oh no.
But,
I feel like Conleth was the wet one. I don't know why.
yeah, he's a little.
I just
wet
feel like he
whore.
should be.
This guy
He's
is...
wet. He's wet.
Wet
He's in the
whore.
Sopping
bathtub.
wet.
But yeah, so these
He looks like he's the only one that should.
4 folks have joined your party. You've
Yippee.
combined your forces into a bigger force. But you've not yet started to move because, hold on. Stathis is gonna do something real quick. Okay. Stathis
Moji.
makes a perfectly good insight check on Clover. And
Oh.
he's gonna kind of like unsurely scoot out to the side while, Conleth and Alphios are like kind of lean in to talk to each other, like, you know, where are we going? What's the plan? And Stathis is kind of like scoot away from them. And you get the vibe that he doesn't know these people, and maybe he encountered them like an hour before you did. So he is not
Yeah, he doesn't really
associated
know.
with them. And he's gonna kind of walk over to Clover, be like, are you okay, miss? You're, Awfully sweaty considering the weather.
10 out of 10. He's my favorite.
Oh,
Clover
sad.
Clover definitely like she's wary of him as well, but like the others have given her more reason to be wary of them than him, just by their behavior so far. So she'd like definitely look at him with some distrust, but not as much as she's been eyeing the others with.
Mhm.
And she'd kind of look at him and just be like, "Wait, what did he just asked if she's okay, right?"
Yeah, he's called you sweaty, and then asked if you're okay.
You okay? All right, sweaty. Just kind of look at him and be like, God, I'm so used to typing. I'm not good at coming up with things on the fly. I'm sorry.
You're good.
But well, she would be very unsure, obviously, and she just kind of look at him and be like, I don't know.
Oh, do you need to like sit down or something? I'll be honest, I didn't know. Well, I knew they had a donkey. I didn't know what happened to it. But I, ugh.
So upon him saying that, Clover would look at him with a bit more like interest, so I guess, and just be like, "You don't know them?"
Oh no, I just met him on the road here. I was going to Siren's Rock to meet up with my girlfriend. But well, they told me to turn around, and well, I thought that was a little curious because they'd broken down on the side of the road, so I offered to fix it, and then I guess they just let me tag along.
She'd kind of look at him with still not like trusting eyes, but definitely not as wary as the other two at this point, because it sounds like this guy's just kind of in a similar situation to the rest of them. It's particularly her to a degree, and she just kind of hesitate for a moment before being like, "Have you seen anyone else out here?"
Oh, on the road?
Yeah.
Nope, not since I started a walking. I'm not from far away from here. I'm from the next town over. It's usually not a terrible walk, but I try not to leave so late. Got caught out in this storm. I suppose it's lucky I did, otherwise these people might have froze.
Clover would, upon him saying he hasn't seen anybody else, she'd kind of deflate a little bit and just be like, "Oh,
Are you looking for somebody? Are you expecting somebody?" And then he looks around, like, are they here?
Person here." She'd kind of be quiet for a moment and just be like, "My husband hasn't come home in months."
Oh! Well, I can't say that I've seen him, to my knowledge, yet.
To my knowledge.
But I'll keep a lookout. And he kind of like reaches out, like super uncomfortably, like patting you on the shoulder very lightly. Says, "I'm sorry to hear that. If it makes you feel better, I haven't heard from my girlfriend in weeks either. That's why I'm going to visit to see if she's all right."
Clover would kind of just look at him. She wouldn't like. She'd be hesitant, but she wouldn't shrink away from the awkward attempt at comforting her. And she'd just kind of be like, he hasn't seen his girlfriend in weeks. She'd just kind of be like, I hope you see her soon."
Oh, well, I expect to because, well, she lives right in Siren's Rock, so we're not that far off.
Okay. Clover would kind of just look at the others and be like, Did they explain why? What's going on?"
Oh, well, they said it's probably not a good idea to stop by at the moment, but, I've been there before, so I figure whatever's going on, I can just avoid it, you know? I know my way to where I gotta go.
This guy built different.
Oh my god. Built different.
What's his wisdom? Let's check this guy's wisdom. It's 6.
I think this guy could
Oh my
1v1 whatever's going on in there. I believe
He's
it.
handling it with his no weapons. and no
He's-
class.
He's like my girlfriend is down there. I gotta go.
I gotta go see my lady.
I love
Her
my
parents aren't
lady.
home.
Yeah, she said her dad's not home. I gotta get over there. You don't understand.
I gotta get there.
We're gonna play Yahtzee.
It's his favorite game.
She'd kind of grip her staff a little bit, just looking over at the other two that are talking amongst themselves. And she'd just be like, fuck, I lost my train of thought.
He was talking about how he's just gonna go into town and avoid whatever is bad's going on there, even though people keep telling him
Oh
not
my god.
to. He doesn't get why.
She would just look over at them, and she would just be like, "Why won't they tell us? Why didn't they tell you what's going on?"
Well, they told me there's an issue. But to be fair, I haven't been conversing with them too much because I've been so busy fixing their cart. That's what I do. I build carts. So I fix them. I fix them when they break.
He builds carts. I love it. That's what I do. I build carts.
Yeah.
I love how he's like the aggressively normal party member of the NPCs compared to everything else.
Yeah,
Thank God.
compared to the
Thank you,
two people
Sappho.
next to
Yeah.
him.
And the lady in the
God.
cart.
I love how I can really see what you mean when you said you built these NPCs tailored somewhat to our
Well, I built
shit.
them first, then I picked the players tailored to my NPCs.
He found the most normal of the other group and was like, "Yes."
Hey, are you doing okay?
Hey man, you look like you just saw a destroyed donkey in the past. But yeah, she definitely kind of like, she would take some comfort in knowing that, like, okay, so this guy's not part of that group, really.
He's not associated with them.
Yeah.
They're not even
So
paying him.
she would, there would be some like visible, a bit of like, she'd relax a little bit. It'd kind of be noticeable that she's still not like 100% like, yes, I fuck with this guy, but like, but like, she's not like looking at, she's not like shrinking away or nervous about him anymore, but she'd definitely still be watching the other two and you know, but and then she'd kind of be like, she'd recall that he said like, oh, I didn't know about the donkey, right? He did say that, right?
Yeah, he didn't know about the donkey.
Okay, yeah.
Or he knew they had a donkey, he didn't know what happened to it. He probably assumed it died on the road, but he doesn't know the details.
But yeah, she'd just kind of like look at the guys over there and look at him and just be like, I don't think the story about the donkey is true.
You know, I was getting that from your face. Is there a reason? Because, I'll be honest, animals die on this road all the time. You can't see because it's all covered in snow, but these are not even pavement. And, well, horses specifically like to flip over like dead crabs. But a donkey's usually a little bit hardier, so what happened to it?
Clover would, she'd look a little distressed again, just kind of going through the images flashing through her mind again, and just be like, its legs, something magic destroyed them.
Oh. Alright.
That wasn't a normal animal.
Magic critter. He's gonna make a quick bestiary check to try to, like, see in his brain what kind of critter that lives up here could do something like that. And I have to open the bestiary thingy. One sec. I didn't open that.
I apologize for how not. I'm a lot better at role playing in text. I am not used to thinking on the fly and you know. So I'm like, I'm sorry that Clover just
you're doing fine.
keeps saying obvious shit. I'm trying.
That's alright. That's alright. He's gonna think for a second, and he kind of shakes his head. He's like, I'll be honest, most of the critters out here, well, they got claws, they got teeth. Some of them fly around, I guess. But I ain't never seen one of them with fire? Or, no, not fire, ice, you said, right?
She actually
What are we
didn't
doing?
say. But, we could say that she did.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say that she did.
Let's say she did.
Let's say she did.
But he's like thinking,
Destroyed with ice.
yes, destroyed with ice. He says, but maybe well, frost can creep up on just about anything if it's cold enough, and it's certainly cold out here today. And he kind of wraps his cloak around him a little bit tighter. So maybe what could have been a bear, could have been a wyvern.
Could have been a bear. She again, she'd take like a slight bit of comfort just in this guy's normalcy because she's been with a bunch of fucking weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, Maurice isn't that bad, but like you know, you get
What are you
the vibe.
talking about?
Much that you say that he's not that bad, but
He's
still
currently
has some
playing his
bad
harp in memory of a donkey he's never met.
Absolutely.
But so she takes some comfort in this, like, how normal this guy seems to be. But she would just kind of be like, it wasn't Frost. She'd kind of look off to the side a little bit and be like, I know a bit about magic, and that looked like it was done by some sort of spell.
Huh. Well, okay. From what he like kind of leans into you a little bit, like in your ear. He's like, from what I've gathered, well, I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I don't think, the gentleman I'm traveling with can see very well. So it could have been some sort of, wild woodland mage. I suppose those probably exist, and they wouldn't know.
What?
If it doesn't speak or anything, it could have just sounded like an animal. So maybe it was a ne'er-do-well. Maybe they were looking to rob you or them. And well, they decided not to at the last minute.
But would kind of hesitate, and she'd kind of think back to the things they saw so far, and if I recall, there were only 2 set of footprints.
Yes, there's only 2 sets of footprints.
Yes, so she would remember that, and she'd be like, I think theirs was the only footprints there.
Maybe a mage who can fly? He
I love
says in a voice of someone who knows literally nothing about mages, only that they can do weird shit.
Just kind of like, she just kind of be like, fucking like the sweet girl is like, oh, he knows nothing about.
Oh, this man is not very smart, I'm realizing.
Yeah. She would just be like, he does know how to fix cards,
and he pulls, he gets puss, dude.
He do pull.
Straight up, on God, confirmed.
Yeah. Well, allegedly.
He's like, I got a hot girlfriend.
I've got a girlfriend. She goes to a different town.
She's from Canada. But she'd just kind of hesitate and be like, should I humor this? Or like, but she would kind of decide against that, considering the severity of the situation. And she'd just be like, I mean, that's unlikely, but...
Oh, well, then I'm not quite sure. You'd probably have to ask them what they, heard, I guess. But, I mean, I haven't seen any... I've been walking on this road for the past 2 hours. Town's 2 hours away. Just about. And I haven't seen anything except for normal wildlife and these people. And you! I've also seen all of you. Unless one of you is some sort of icy beast. And he gives you like kind of the up and down look. He's like, I would have thought more like fire based on hair color. But I don't mean to presume or anything. I haven't seen anything.
Clover, if anything, that would make her more nervous. That points even further at those guys doing something sus.
Currently, they're arguing over a map. It's like a topographic, like, it's got bumps on it. They have like a little clay thing that they're both like pointing at and like tracing on. Like, no, we need to go around the mountain. Are you stupid? Like that kind of
Love them.
Mm-hmm,
Clover would kind of like she'd remember that book that is in her bag and the fact that it was with their things and the contents that was within it. She would not mention it to this man because he does not seem bright enough to not tell anybody else about it. um but she would kind of recall that and just the fact that he's like, yeah, I haven't seen anything else or anything. She'd just be like she really wouldn't be sure how to handle this situation. But she would just be like, I mean, I guess they're still our best bet right now.
I mean, getting a good look at them, they don't seem to be super dangerous. Well, they only got staves on them as far as I can tell. Or maybe a tome or something. But, well, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that, anybody super dangerous could be up on this road in the middle of nowhere, right? And the lady that travels with him, she hasn't even gotten up out of her chair, so I don't think she has any intention to do anything wrong.
Sorry, I
Clover
really need to
knowing how-
pee.
All right, take a piss
oh,
break. 1 sec.
Sorry.
5-minute
Piss break.
piss break. 5-minute piss break.
They cut off a 5-minute piss. Get a piss for 5 minutes straight. Oh, God. Clover needs to fucking work on her people skills, and by Clover I mean me. So how's the Twitch chat doing? How y'all doing? Are you enjoying my stumbling along, attempting to keep to make conversations work? Oh, God. Freed. God, freed. Yes. Okay, listen, Sketch. Sketch, you're used to my typing headcanons. I am so much better when typing out role plays. I'm not used to thinking on the fly. I'm just like, man, how do people think so fast and make good, super good, interesting? Oh, hi, Pen.
Personally, for me, I can say that I learned it through extremely cringe methods and means, aka
Like what I'm doing right now.
like what we're doing right now, and also like weird stuff in the Slenderman mythos. Like there were similar like fan events that were run. So like I
valid.
practiced through that so I could get on the fly super quick, and that like developed my improv skills over time.
Yeah, because I'm like, I mean, if I do say so myself, I'm pretty good at like role playing and headcanoning and text, but this is really like a completely different type of thing. You don't have any time to think, and
Yep.
that's hard for me.
You get
Sorry.
better at it with practice.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first session I did with them with my guy Pine. He was very grumpy, and he was even harder to play than Clover because like he was just a grumpy guy that didn't really want to make friends or anything. And it's funny because when I made Clover, I was like, oh, she's gonna be like the one that's like, oh, let's all get along. And she wrote herself, man. I didn't expect her to be like, who the fuck is that? I don't know that.
Maurice Marjoram is definitely the sort of very much a deviation from the kind of like weird characters I play on camera, like a Demon and so on.
Also, I just want to thank the Twitch chat for encouraging me and saying I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing a genuinely great job. Like I
Yeah,
really like some of the directions you're going with Clover. I think it's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you got this.
I was worried I was just stating obvious shit.
I promise.
Honestly, half the time, a tabletop campaign needs someone who can just be there to state the obvious shit, because it's not as obvious as you'd think, and like
Oh, I'm back.
sometimes you need someone who just like does the thing instead of having it be a whole production. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's snowed.
Okay, well, okay, that's good. I was worried I was kind of being like just a bit boring when I was trying to have this
No.
You're
do
good.
this
No.
conversation with him.
All right,
thank you.
I'm back. You're conversing.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. You're conversing
Yes.
with Sathis. Where were
We were she was saying that I think they're still our best bet, despite her distrust of them.
Mhm. Yeah, hold
I think
on.
that
I'm
was
saying
the
no.
way
I agree. I was planning on pitching a tent out here, but it's actually a little bit colder than I thought it would be. So, they mentioned something about a cave, and well, I'm sure there's room enough in a cave for all 8 of us.
Did they mention? This is me asking, not Clover. Did they mention the cave yet, or is that new
No,
information?
he just
for
said
us?
lodgings.
Okay.
They did not
so-
specify lodgings.
So they did know that they did not know that they were going to a cave. Okay. So and he just said like, oh, they said something about a cave. That's
Yep, they said well, Siren's Rock, I know, is on the other side of that big mountain there. But it'll take a couple more hours to walk around the mountain, because you don't walk over it. There's no path. Unless I guess you got some kind of flying critter, but I certainly don't. And, well, there's a lot of caves in the mountain, so people, when they travel, they pitch their tents inside of the caves. It's a little bit longer than a walk than I was planning on making, but well, it beats freezing to death. So, and maybe I don't know, if you ask nicely, maybe the lady will let you on the cart she has.
I don't know if Clover wants to get that close to the lady.
Speaking of freezing to death, I think it would be best if we were to continue moving as soon as possible. The sun is getting very low.
I was actually about to say, Clover would, at his mention of that, she would definitely be pulling her own cape that I conveniently gave her. Good design choice at me. She would pull her own cape, which I do imagine is made of like some sort of wool. Like it is a pretty warm cloak, but she would kind of pull it closer to her and be like, "Shelter from the wind does sound nice."
Yeah, doesn't it? All right. You know what? She's right. We should probably move. And then Alphios pulls away from his conversation with Conleth about their route. And he tucks away the little 3D map he's got. He says, "I would agree. If
I just want to say, Clover will have visibly relaxed a little bit after that conversation with Stathis, kind of like, okay, like she's happy that there seems to be like someone who, from what she can tell, does seem pretty normal and safe to be around. So she'd kind of relax a bit.
excellent.
She does trust Maurice as well. He seems cool. He's just weird.
Yeah.
He's
Maurice
just
doesn't
weird.
Very. He's a
No,
little
she doesn't love that he
He's just
shouted
a
to the
weird
people before they
soul.
knew what was going on. She doesn't love
Yeah.
that. Oh, sorry, continue.
But so, without further ado, I believe Alphios will go to the front of the cart, and it's kind of been converted to like a half litter, or a palanquin, however you want to call it. But he picks up the front 2 beams where you connect a donkey, and he just lifts it with no problem whatsoever, and no effort.
Damn.
Man, if Clover wasn't a taken woman,
Yeah, she's into older
man,
men,
you are playing with
scary
my
older
heartstrings.
men.
You know what?
know what?
Maurice Marjoram doesn't know red flags whatsoever. He's colorblind.
Well, great news. This guy is full blind. We can make this work, baby.
Sorry, I was referring to Stathis.
No, Stathis is just kind of hanging out around you.
Yeah, no, I was kind of like saying that way later than I should have.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Stathis is already taken. He has a girlfriend.
Exactly. If they were not both taken,
Allegedly from another town.
allegedly from Canada.
But Alphios is going to take the front of the cart and begin dragging it along. Conleth is going to walk next to him. He's kind of holding Alphios' stuff, like his cane. Just like vaguely wandering. And he's projecting a pungent aura of, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here. And Stathis is going to kind of put his hands in his pockets and meander next to the rest of you guys. He is perhaps detecting the vibe that you guys are the normal people. Out of the selection. Not that he doesn't trust these other people, obviously. He was traveling with them. But, you know, you guys are relatively normal. Give me 1 second, please, while I do something. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay.
Oh,
Fascinating.
fear?
I love to hear it.
But yeah, if no one has anything else to say, you can make your way to this cave.
There is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
As am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Okay. As we start moving forward, Isidore's gonna kind of hang back until she can kind of match step with Clover. And kind of just lean into her ear a little bit and just whisper a message.
Oh,
She's
as emoji.
just, she's just gonna whisper, I understand that you're uncomfortable in this situation. I share the sentiment. If a single one of these holy men, she says with like a mix of disdain and disbelief, like she doesn't like a massive air quotes around holy men. If one of these holy men tries something before they can even lay their hands on a staff, I got them like a fish.
You know, Clover immediately likes Isidore a lot more now. She would honestly take some comfort in that. Funny enough, you know, the violence isn't thrilling, but she would kind of, because Isidore has been pretty distant thus far, so Clover wasn't really sure how she felt about her. She was just kind of like, yeah, she's there, you know. But she would just kind of look at her, and be like, okay. But she would look at her with like, so like, her eyes would say more than her mouth. Like she would be like, yeah, she would be vibing with the fact that Isidore is ready to you know, do what would be needed if need be.
Mm-hmm.
And she would.
Oh, wait, you guys go.
You had something to add?
I was just gonna say, at that point she would kind of, Clover would be happy to kind of fall in step with Isidore for a bit there, because she'd be like, all right, well, I feel safer with this, you know, with her next to me than any of the other guys. And like, again, Clover does love Maurice, but the way that he shouted to the people before they knew who it was, she doesn't love that. Didn't instill safety in her. So Isidore seemed kind of more cautious, and she'd kind of vibe with that.
Yeah. Maurice Marjoram at this point has finally elegy for this donkey. And I like to imagine at this point he has sort of gravitated somewhat towards Alphios and like near the front, you know, where Alphios is carrying the litter. And he looks over at Alphios and sort of blinks back and forth, one eye back and forth. And then he goes, would you like some help with that, sir?
Alphios, doesn't look over at you because he's still carrying the thing. But he says, oh, no, I think I've got it here. It's not as heavy as you'd think.
Are you sure? I'd be willing to help if you'd need some extra hand or two.
Perhaps tomorrow. You could, take a shift if you'd like. Well, I'm sure Lady Gracia would prefer that I was the one, leading us, but we'll see if there's, something you can't do. When we make camp, certainly, you could help us set up camp.
I'm good with my hands in that regard.
Excellent, then yes, we'll put you to work. What's your name again? I don't think we caught any of your names, actually.
Maurice Marjoram sort of like, he holds up a fist and he goes, I'm Maurice Marjoram. And he points over at Isidore. That person with the fuzzy hat is Isidore. And then he points over at Clover. Over there's Clover. And then finally, like gesturing vaguely at Cassandra, he goes, and that holy man there's Cassandra.
Alphios is just gonna keep pulling his cart quietly for a minute and say, oh, well, I can't see if you're gesturing to people, but I assume I will become accustomed to, assigning names with voices at some point. Thank you,
Yeah.
Maurice. Can you make an insight check?
Yeah, I can make an insight check. Oh wait, is he make? Oh wait, no,
No,
I am.
you're gonna make an insight check.
All right, great, good. I'm curious to know what this dude's deal is. Why is he rolling?
Uh-oh.
Oh, what?
What?
Oh, well.
14?
Okay. Good enough. I'd say, Maurice, you have a pretty good side profile of this guy's face as he's dragging along the cart. And he's making the kind of expression, not at you, but like, directed towards you, that one usually reserves for small children and the intellectually inept.
Oh no.
Damn it.
He thinks you're a
Oh,
fucking moron, but he's being so nice about it.
That's so fair, actually.
I just have like a quick thing to pop in if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Just to add to a little bit to the Clover and Isidore interaction. Clover would have kind of just quietly followed pretty in step with Isidore for a little bit. Just kind of thinking a little bit about the very brief interaction they just had. And kind of out of the blue, very quietly, she just go, "Thank you." That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want to add.
Victor kind of gives a curt nod.
Because Clover was just like, she's like, I'm vibing with this. And she's like, I want to be on good terms with this lady.
I
Okay,
think
that's all.
well, that is Cassandra's just sort of walking. I think also towards the front. He is following along with the group, but he is he's kind of got his once again, he is walking, he's following, but he does seem to again be focused on other things perhaps. And he does anybody who's near him can hear him sort of mutter about, "Oh no, I don't think I have seen any lizards."
Onlet is gonna
If
turn to you
Clover
and be
happens
like,
to be
what?
near him, he ignores.
Conlith is gonna turn to Cassandra and go, what?
Lizards? Haven't seen any. It's a bit cold, so I don't know why they're talking about them.
Who?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Who's talking about lizards? No one said anything.
God, I presume.
Could you elaborate?
Oh, somebody speaks to me. That's why I'm out here. I'm looking for who's speaking. I've been looking for quite some time.
You receive visions?
Mostly auditory, but sometimes I have strange dreams.
He's gonna make a medicine check on you.
You're getting diagnosed.
Oh, I'm looking up Bios' sheet. Okay. He's proficient in medicine. Okay.
Oh, that wasn't a good sound.
He got a 16, so he doesn't have anything confirmed, but he kind of makes a face of like he's thinking to himself what could that mean, and he's like, all right, do you often hear voices of the divine?
Oh, every day, frequently. I hear it now.
And did this start as a result of some sort of head injury? Or...
Well, my messenger did come from within my own family. When I was a bit young.
Hold on. And he holds his hand out a little bit. You're going...
Mm-hmm.
You seem like an interesting man, Cassandra. When you say messenger, because you called our donkey a messenger as well, is this a code word for something?
No, it should, somebody. Sorry. Well, I suppose it's somebody whom, after you have an encounter with, from what I gather, tends to be combative. Well, then you begin hearing things. I thought perhaps the donkey was somebody's messenger, but I suppose I was mistaken. I'd only thought humans could do such a thing after all, but I suppose a donkey could be competitive.
Just to get this
Mhm.
clear. You got in a fight, and then you immediately started hearing a god, speak to you from within your head.
Not immediately, but I suppose that's a way to put it.
Interesting. Once we get to our lodgings, perhaps we could well, we'll have further conversation about this, I think.
Well, of course.
I'd love to know more. I'd love to.
I'm glad you're interested. Nobody has been in quite some time.
Uh-huh. And has this god ever introduced himself, or?
And that's the troublesome thing. I imagine it's some sort of test.
Uh-huh. A test for what?
I don't know. Perhaps of faith, of willingness to find them.
So, you're on
That's
a
why
hunt.
I'm out here.
You're on a hunt to find whatever's speaking to you inside of your head after you sustained some sort of injury.
I suppose, yes.
Yes, we should talk as soon as we get to our lodgings, I think.
Oh, of course.
He kind of like fiddles around on his little pack, and you can see that he's a cleric, so he has a lot of medical supplies. And he seems to just like touch them idly as if to make sure they're all in order.
Cassander does a little smile and it's like, Cassandra's currently thinking, wow, somebody's gonna help me find God. Yippee!
He's gonna help you in some sort of way.
I cast the most powerful spell of all. Are you ready to meet God?
The most powerful spell of them all, antipsychotics.
Diagnosis. But
Hey Sam.
yeah, what's up?
I feel the need to ask because it would feel presumptuous to just start requesting people make checks because I'm not the DM.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something that would be pertinent information if other people around Isidore were to make a perception check.
Oh, yes. Everyone make a perception check on... you can totally request other people, including me, make perception checks on your character or any kind of check. Magic checks, athletics checks to do a flip.
Clover's right next to her, so... For sure.
Yeah,
I got a 10.
anyone within, like, conversational distance.
I feel like Stathis is hanging out with Clover, so he's also here.
Does, No, never mind.
Stathis
So we're doing perception, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I just got a really good roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stathis
Like a
got an 8,
20.
so he doesn't see shit.
To start with.
If you got a nat 20, that's it. You don't have to roll anymore. You just
okay,
succeed.
yeah, I got nat 20. Clover got nat 20.
Nice. Is anyone else rolling?
Cassandra's a bit up front, so I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
he's not
think
within
that
range.
Maurice is definitely up front too and distracted.
Alright, so it would just be Clover and is it Stathis or Status?
Stathis.
Stathis. Okay.
Oh, they little sprites can't go in the room with you.
Did he get above a 12?
No, he got an 8.
Rip. So he
His
doesn't
ass
notice
is
this,
not
which
listening.
which kind of tracks from what I know of this man thus far. But so yeah, Clover would notice that as we're walking, like every 10 to 15, maybe not 15 seconds, like every like 15 to 30 seconds or so, Isidore just like kind of briefly pauses, not even enough to like fall behind a step, and just like makes this pained wincing noise and kind of like scrunches her body up a little together, like she's just suddenly felt a sharp pain in her abdomen or something.
Oh. Okay.
And then continues. And it's clear that like it's hard to hide because like it's kind of reflexive, but she's also like going to some lengths to not make it super obvious that she's in pain.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So information. Yeah. So Clover. Well, obviously, she definitely notices this. She'd kind of be looking over and seeing like that reaction, and uh, would you would a medicine check do anything, or am I just working with what we got?
I mean, that's up to Sam.
Yeah, you can do a medicine check.
All right, I will do a medicine check. Give me a moment. Oh my god. Okay. Can't be lucky every time. Uh, 25. If that does anything. Does that reveal? Does it tell Clover any extra information, or is it just?
Yeah, I mean, I can provide more information depending on what degree, like, Sam, I still have full authority to.
Yeah, you have full
Okay.
authority over how your character is interpreted. 100%.
Some now that you've kind of noticed that she's doing this and kind of are paying closer attention, you notice that it appears that she's like there's a pain in the back of her skull or something. Like she keeps like moving her hands as if she wants to go and grab the back of her neck and then stopping herself.
Okay. Okay. So, Clover, with the information at hand, she would probably, react pretty naturally and just kind of, she's already pretty close to Isidore, but if need be, she would kind of, go a little, walk alongside her and just kind of be like, "Are you okay?"
Depends by what metric you're asking. I'm alive.
Clover would, just, you look like you're in pain.
Well, that would be because I am in pain. It used to be less frequent. I don't know how often it happened when it started because as far as I'm aware, I wasn't fully present for when it started, so to speak. But it has gotten far more frequent, like minutes to portions of minutes.
Clover would just she definitely shows a little concern, just like a genuine, like, you know not nervous concern, just oh no. And she'd just be like, "Are you injured?"
I suppose that it qualifies in a way as an injury. I certainly was not mentally prepared for how taxing it would be.
Clover would she'd think for a moment and kind of remember what she has with her, question mark, as I look at her sheet. Give me a moment. Am I looking at, we got, why did I think there was something else here? Where would it, ancient philosophy or wording? Is it up here? No.
What are you looking for?
Why did I? Oh, okay, there it is. I was remembering it. She has some like herbs with her and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Clover would just be like, I could try to help you."
Well, the pain is manageable. It's infrequent still, relatively.
It
I
looks
could do
pretty
without the
frequent.
incessant nausea.
Um,
If you have
nausea.
something for that.
Do I have something for that?
You can make something out of your
Smart.
herbs, but it'll spend herbs.
I mean, that's okay.
Okay. You can make a
although
medicine check
they
to
are
create something.
walking though. They are moving. Can I do that while we're moving?
You can
Question mark?
certainly try.
I should certainly try. Yeah, because Clover would kind of like consider like like internally she's like, should I ask them to stop? But she'd kind of be like, probably not because it's getting dark, and she'd be like, all right, stopping isn't a good idea. So she'd kind of rummage in the side pocket of her bag, specifically, because that's where she would keep the herbs. And she'd kind of try to do something with that. I don't know how many. Well, I need to roll first, right? Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and I'd be. Do I need to find? Do I need a specific item that she's making, or can I just say it's something for nausea?
You can just make something
Something
for
for
nausea.
nausea. Okay. So she'd kind of take out the herbs from her bag, and let's see how she does with whatever the hell she's trying to make. Oh, okay. We might. All right. Isidore might be in luck.
Excellent.
We're going to. Yeah, so that's 34.
Yeah, you managed to make a concoction that would probably dull some nausea.
All right. How many herbs did that use?
I'm gonna say 3 of them.
Okay, so we are down to 4. All right. So she would, however the hell she made whatever the hell she made. I don't magic, I guess. I don't know.
Nausea
Well, not
concoction.
magic, because it's however she made it while they're walking. I guess fucking rubbing her hands together real fast. Or she just had the right herbs for it. I guess I don't know, but she'd do whatever she needed to do to just kind of tinkering a bit with the herbs and whatever. As they walk along, and she'd kind of hold it out to Isidore and just be like, I think this should help.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't mean to ask more of you, but you don't happen to have anything, like, have any salt on you?
I don't believe I don't think she would have anything for that unless berries have any sodium in them. Sam, do berries have sodium?
I don't think so.
Okay, because some fruits can have sodium. In that case,
A little sodium as a treat.
a little sodium berries. Okay. Speaking of which, should I have added the berries to her inventory?
Yeah, sure. You can add couple of
Where would
berries.
that be?
Just her
Normal
non-combat inventory.
Okay. Berries. How many? While we're at it.
20.
20. Okay, 20 berries. She hasn't handed them out yet or anything, other than like 2 to Spud. But she just kind of think for a moment and think about the berries and be like, oh, does that kind have any? And she would be like, no. She'd kind of shake her head and be like, I don't think so. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I didn't expect that anyone here would. I nearly asked our new acquaintances, but I think it would be best to not rely on them in any capacity.
Clover would kind of pause for a moment and think back, and she'd be like, Did you save any of that meat from earlier?
Oh, that we found in their supplies?
Mm-hmm.
No, I seem to have consumed it all.
Oh.
It did help.
Clover would kind of hesitate, and now I'm finally getting to show that she is in fact a sweetheart, and not a rude lady. She'd kind of hesitate and look forward a bit at the, cart in front of them, and is the cart like? I don't remember if it was described earlier. If there was anything else besides just Gracia, like, and her.
There's a little
thing
bit of
there.
stuff in the back, like the absolute necessities for traveling that they didn't leave behind. But it's
So, like,
it's not
like-
much.
Okay, like, are there any, like, boxes she can't or is it just kind of in plain view what's on or perceptive checks, question mark?
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
Okay. 'Cause baby wanna help. Hang on. I hate how, like, Google Sheets brings a box up with you when you have it selected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so alright. This perception, that's down here. 25.
25. You could see that
Mhm.
it's mostly bundled fabric, like for a tent,
Mm.
a little bit of kindling, and a small amount of food.
Okay. Clover would kind of hesitate, and she'd look like. I mean, it depends if how perceptive Isidore wants to be. I guess if she wants to take a reading on what's going through Clover's mind, but
You can make an insight check.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm bad at
in
that.
case she wants to say anything before I move on.
Insights under wisdom. Okay, so that's 14.
Yeah, that should be okay because she wouldn't be like hiding it or anything. She would probably notice then that Clover is obviously kind of having an internal conflict whether she wants to kind of go and say something to the others. And would she want to say anything, or should I move on with my what's happening?
Kind of.
Just so I don't start rambling.
I appreciate your assistance, but I should be able to make it to shelter tonight. By should, I mean I know I will. I've seen far worse.
Clover would kind of she'd look over at her with some concern in her eyes, and she'd just be like, "We can ask when we get there."
Yeah, they already said that they could spare some bandages, and you notice at this point that there's like a small amount of blood like actively coming out of the bottom of her bandage now, like it's been
Oh dear.
saturated.
Clover concerned. Um, honestly, I'm kind of surprised I didn't want to give her bandages. Anyway, that's unrelated. But well, Clover would definitely notice that, and it would cause extra worry. And she would just be like, "Are you sure you're? Do you should we ask if you could ride on the thing on the what's it called? Fuck."
Litter or the palanquin or the cart.
Cart. She'd probably just call it a cart. She'd just be. Should we ask if you could ride on the cart? You're bleeding.
Places a hand up on her cheek and oh, I suppose I am. She kind of pauses and sniffs her hand a little and then makes this face of like, that's not great. And then but I promise you I'll be fine. I've walked further with far worse injuries with far more gear on my back in the past.
Clover would look even more concerned than she did prior now that she has seen the blood and the acknowledgement of the blood. And, despite her trepidations and what Isidore is saying, she'd kind of look at Isidore, look back forward, look at Isidore, and just kind of, without another word, she'd kind of jog forward a little bit to whoever's nearest by of the NPCs, which I guess would be Stat. No, she wouldn't ask Stat.
Right next to you.
She wouldn't ask Stat. The other two.
Okay. Conleth is probably the one most attentive because Alphios is marching the cart.
And talking to
Yes.
Cassander as well, I think. So she'd kind of go up to Conleth and she'd be not. She'd clearly kind of be hesitant, but she would kind of jog up to him, alongside him. But I don't know if he'd hear her coming.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know if
hears you.
wants to-
He doesn't
Yeah.
acknowledge you, but he hears you.
Excellent.
You see him tense up a little bit. Like, oh, God.
Like, person. Just kind of jog up and be like, do you know how much longer we're gonna be walking?
Alfie, how much longer are we going to be walking? To which Alphios goes, scarcely half an hour.
Mhm.
Half an hour.
Alright. She'd kind of think for a moment, like, oh, is that... And, like, considering the cold and stuff, that would make half an hour feel a lot longer than half
Is
an
there
hour.
something troubling you, Miss Clover? Other than the donkey, I mean.
Wow, okay, fucker. Bitch, McGee.
Got him. Got him.
Got him. Clover would casually try to ignore that comment because she has more important matters. But she'd kind of fidget a bit with the staff in her hands and just be like, she'd be very anxious. Like she'd I mean, he can't see her anyway, so. But for the rest of you to know, like her stomach.
Cassandra can see you.
Oh yeah, he's nearby. Yeah, I forgot. I don't remember where everyone's located.
Cassandra's right next to Conlith, who they were just talking about how Cassandra's insane.
Oh yeah, I knew he was talking to Alf. Yes, I forgot. Conlith was also. I'm not good at things.
Good.
Okay. So I guess Cassandra might notice how it just. She's definitely visibly anxious. Thank you, Sam, for arranging things.
Oh, standing on your head.
But she'd be visibly anxious and kind of take a moment and just, very, very hesitantly be like, I think someone Isidore is injured. Can she ride on the cart?
Conleth will kind of like turn to you. He's gonna walk backwards, and still keeping his attention on you, and says, "What? No, of course she can't walk. No, someone's already in the cart."
What sort of injury does she have? I might have something in my. He pulls out his little. Sanders had this sack with him this whole time. I have supplies.
Oh gosh, what's he rummaging? I hear rummaging.
Oh no.
I have a staff and training.
I have training.
Sure you do.
Would Clover like to make a perception check on the bag? Conlith obviously cannot see the bag.
No, yeah, Conleth just hears it. Oh, you have something in a sack. I don't like that.
Yeah, sure. She'll make a perception check. What's in the bag? She'll make a perception check. Every time I roll low, I forget that she has like really good and I'm like, oh, it should be okay. Perception. Still not great here though. No, not a good one. Good job, Clover. 19.
Not good. 19. You need. It's okay. It's right in front of you. But see, as he swings this bag around like his hip, you can see the only thing of note of it is it seems like a repurposed I guess potato sack kind of situation, but maybe it didn't contain. I'm just saying sack. It's like a repurposed canvas sack that has Demos Trading stamped onto it.
Demos?
I'll type it. It's like his last name.
Oh, okay.
Demos Trading.
Because my next question was, should I do some sort of check to see if she recognizes the name?
That is the wrong chat. It's fine. Let me put it in the proper chat. Chat.
Yay!
Demos Trading. Bother doing a check to see if she recognizes that, or does that matter at all?
I guess it could be a history check. If you've heard of this, whatever this is.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean what's in it matches that, though. You said it looks repurposed, right?
Yeah, it's repurposed. But if you want to know about perhaps the words on it.
The words on it. I mean, why not? I guess. I mean, well, maybe not. Actually, Clover's a little preoccupied.
No, you're good. But he's rifling about. Let's see. That's food. That's letters. It's another letter. That's more food. That's old food. I should throw that away.
Clover would kind of.
Here you go. and then he pulls out like a little like it's like a wrapped up. These are the last of the bandages. I mean, I'm not injured right now though. I haven't received my name yet, so I haven't been able to restock, but these will suffice. And then he hands you just like a plain cloth bandage.
Okay. Clover would kind of take that, and it wouldn't really be the result that she wanted from the situation, wanting to do a little more, but it'd be something. She kind of accept that as she'd kind of be like, oh, it's only half an hour. She's like, because the idea to get her in the cart failed miserably.
Cassandra sort of
And-
looks. She's like, she seems to be walking fine, and it wouldn't be proper to displace the lady here.
Clover's like, Clover would, and Clover's mind, she's like, there's enough room for more than one people, but I would make it heavier though. But she'd just kind of be like, okay, and not want to argue further because she's afraid of everybody else.
Oh wait, here, take these two. He'll hand you. He'll reach in also, and he'll pull out presumably some of the good food. It seems to be like a little. It's crackers. It's crackers.
She would actually look up pretty thrilled about that development. As because Isidore was asking for salty things, and I would well, Clover sees crackers and assumes that they're salty, but that could be wrong. It could be plain.
Probably.
But either way, it's something. So she'd kind of be like, "Oh, thank you." And she, so she'd kind of take that as well, and she'd scurry on back and fall back to where Isidore, I guess, has been vibing, unless Isidore has wanted to do something since Clover left.
No, she's still just trucking along.
She's just vibing. All right. Then Clover would come back and hold the things out to her and just be like, will this work?"
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But
She's
there you
gonna
go.
take the bandages and kind of like stuff them into her coat pocket and then peel like start basically inhaling crackers.
Munching, crunching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Clover is she's satisfied that she has hopefully helped Isidore out because she was looking worse for wear. So she's like, and she just she'll kind of tack on, just be like, they said it'll be half an hour until we get there.
Oh yeah, that's more than fine. Thank you.
There you go. And Clover would just kind of fall back in line with her, and on occasion she'll kind of glance over to see if she's all right. But other than that, she'll kind of go back to being quiet and fidgety.
Are
Oh, well.
you said that you were searching for someone here?
Clover would kind of be surprised at the question, and she'd just be like, "Oh, yeah." She'd just kind of look more like visibly just a little upset, like she's obviously very concerned about this person, and she'd just be like, I'm looking for my husband."
And when you find him, what do you intend to do?
Well, I just want to know he's okay. He's been gone for so long, and he's always come home before every time. She'd kind of start to get a little worked up, because she's kind of been trucking along, dealing with all this stress out here to find him, and she's just so worried after seeing that donkey and like all this stuff that's going on, and she'd get a little distressed, and she'd just be like, he's always come home before, but it's been so long since I've seen him, and now with all this, I just want to know he's okay.
That's understandable. Yeah. I hope that we do find him. Sorry, I have I have reasons for asking, but I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. I think we should continue forward.
Clover would kind of just shake her head like, no, 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 it's okay. Thank you.
And just nods again.
Dots. Oh, well, you know what? I'm liking their development here. Girl night.
Girl night.
Girl night.
Okay. Well, you guys have been walking for a bit of time now, and you can see that you're getting close to the mountain where this hypothetical cave is. And it takes a minute to actually find, like, a proper opening to one. But as soon as you find one, Alphios is quick to steer the cart inside because it has gotten blisteringly cold and windy. You feel the difference immediately upon entering the cave. It's like 10 degrees warmer in here, which isn't much, but once you get a fire going, maybe it could be downright cozy. And as you enter, you notice that. Hold on. It's
Holding on.
full of beautiful, large, icy crystals. These are not like rock formations, it's ice.
Ooh,
but-
Clover's eyes would light up a little bit.
Yeah. It is cold in here due to the ice, but the stone ground could presumably be warmed with a fire. Alphias is going to set the cart down gently and immediately begin attending to his lady. He pulls a tarp out from the bundles in the back of the cart and sets it up kind of like a tent around the cart, so that presumably Gracia can have some privacy. He busies himself with that, and he kind of gives Maurice a look like, well, you wanted to hang out and help. So if you want to start lighting fires,
Maurice, the instant you want to start lighting fires, Alphios' mouth, like Maurice Marjoram is moving. He is immediately getting done and set. Like there is no hesitation in the man. Of course, you put him to work, he will get shit done.
very good. Alphios nods approvingly as soon as he hears Flint being struck. Says, man knows where his priorities are. Excellent. And then disappears inside of this little makeshift tent, presumably to speak with or help Gracia. This leaves Conleth and Stathis out amongst the rest of you. Conleth puts down a bedroll. The ground is kind of damp. He moves his bedroll. He looks pissed off about the fact that his bedroll is damp. He sits on it and just kind of looks a little bit pissed off and grouchy. And Stathis, well, he didn't bring a bedroll, but he does have his like cloak, which he takes off and bundles up into a little pillow, which he puts next to him, stares at, pats to make it a little bit more comfortable, and then doesn't immediately lay down on, but he sits next to it as if to claim that particular dry spot of ground. Cassander, we're gonna go down the line. I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
Cassander, how are you doing in this cave?
He's looking all around at these crystals. And he's mildly impressed. Like he goes like, oh, like nice crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to he's kind of like, oh, I don't know, these are quite big already. But then he sort of I think he watches Conleth kind of fumble with his he mad about him what thing. And he'll kind of walk over and kind of pull as he's going, his little sack.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sparse. It's very light, but he probably does.
Conleth hears you coming with your sack, and he makes an expression like, "Oh no."
Why do you look so shocked? It's just a bag of supplies.
What kind of supplies? What do you have in there?
Supplies? letters, food, and this, which I think might be of interest to you. And he pulls out, and he will like, he'll probably have to because he's sitting, right? He is, so he'll like kind of crouch down so that he can and hold it out to him so that he can grab it when he feels like it. But it's like
Conleth is gonna sit there and say, "I'm not gonna touch whatever it is until you tell me what this is."
That's understandable. It's like a sheet. It's folded up nice and small. It's not the sturdiest thing, but your bedroll seems to have been wet a little bit. I thought you might like an extra layer between you and the wet.
Conleth is gonna do something real quick. He frowns, and for a moment it seems like out of pure force of habit, he wants to tell you to fuck off in slightly nicer terminology. But his bedroll is wet, and he tentatively reaches out to see if you're not actually handing him like a frog or something. And he takes the sheet, kind of flips over his hand and says, is this your only bedding for the trip?
I wouldn't really call it bedding, but I've got my my tabard comes off. It's lined with fur. I'm not that worried about it. I've slept in weirder spots.
Oh. Well, I thank you for your generosity, Mr. Cassander, but he hands the sheet bag, says, perhaps you ought to keep this.
If you're sure.
The bedroll will dry, I hope.
I suppose you could always move it by one of the fires for a bit.
Well, I'm going to wait for that blithering oath to finish setting it up first.
That's wise. Then he'll just sort of he'll set his stuff down. He's not like spreading out the sheet yet or anything, but he'll just kind of sit down a couple feet away from him. And sort of look about. So what are you all doing out here? I know you said you were headed toward the thing, and your lady said you were experts.
Oh. Well, you've heard what happened to the city, right? You heard rumors.
Bits and pieces, yes, it's gone.
Well, I wouldn't say the city is gone. Well, we haven't been there, so I don't have the specifics, but Lady Gracia advised that perhaps the people might be gone.
Oh.
And we're off to figure out why.
Is this something you do frequently?
No, I've never done this before.
What do you normally do then? What makes you experts about this, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, well, I used to be a scholar, if you must know. I have a magical ability, healing talent. If anything goes wrong, I could take care of it.
Even a whole town?
Oh, well, people are gone, so I would only have to really look after Alfie and Gracia, and I guess the rest of you.
That would be... Well, I'm sure your services will be appreciated. You seem to know your stuff.
I would hope so. Speaking of knowing my stuff...
Yeah.
Well, we had a conversation earlier, if you remember. You mentioned sustaining an injury a while ago. How long ago was that?
Let's see. I was 10, so about 24 years ago.
Oh, you are older than I thought. Okay. He's gonna make a medicine check on you. He's gonna kind of like reach out, like towards you.
He'll he goes to like, he doesn't touch him. He does like go to like reach a hand out, and then he stops himself because that would be rude. If you'd like, I could put your hand where the injury is. It's on my face.
Oh. Well, yes, if you're more than comfortable in that, that's fine with me.
Sure.
Just to
He
take a
take
look.
he will, take his hand and put it to the left side of his face where it's definitely been like healed, but it's like, you see him. It's like a burn that covers like more than half of his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can definitely feel it out. It's like, oh, that's quite the devastating injury here. Well, healed up well, looks like. But have you ever considered that perhaps taking such a hit to the head might have jumbled some things up in there?
Mm.
I can't say I've ever heard of someone hearing the voices of gods in their head. Outside of their head, absolutely. But well, forgive me. I just find it a little hard to believe.
Mm. I You are not the first person to tell me such things. But well, I just don't see what else it could really be. It's the only thing that's around much anymore.
Mm-hmm. And
And Mhm.
you think that whatever speaks to you, whoever this is somehow connected to a disappeared town?
Well, I suspect the disappeared town. Something that would make a town disappear from just. I I'm a bit of a researcher myself. Something that would have the ability to make a whole town disappear. Well, I believe that could be connected to the divine in some way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'll be
Mm.
honest. I don't know the details of what Lady Gracia does, or even Alfie. And Stathis doesn't know shit. I barely know the man. But
Mhm.
well, if I was looking for perhaps the divine, um, I wouldn't start with the one that disappears people.
Oh, I
Um,
wouldn't either. This is
okay.
not my first attempt.
Oh, okay. Any luck so far?
Unfortunately, not. It's been a long. Oh, when did I start wandering? When I was about 18. So,
And how old are you now?
34.
Uh-huh. And you found nothing that whole time.
Well, you don't often run into gods and such. Most people don't know what to do with my affliction, so I suppose I've just been left to my own devices.
Mm-hmm. I see. Um, okay. Interesting. Well, I'll admit, well, this seems to have healed up perfectly nicely. Gives you kind of like a pat on the cheek. He withdraws his hand. Says, and well, I hope you find whatever's speaking to you. Um, but a word of advice. I don't think whatever's speaking to you is whatever's out on that ice.
Hmm.
If it, if you feel like it is, maybe consider not listening.
Well, that would be rude to ignore such a constant companion.
Yes, but well, if it asks you to do something dangerous, would you do it?
Well, yes, I have before.
Clarify.
Well, what do you think? You know, as I said previously, this is not the weirdest place I've slept in. I've walked out into the middle of roads.
Oh,
I've definitely climbed into to certain precarious positions.
because the voice in your head told you to?
Yes.
And you didn't think for one moment that they might be leading you astray.
Hmm. Well, perhaps earlier when it first started, but I don't know. Like I said, when you don't have anything else, when you don't have much else listening to listen to, for guiding you along. At a certain point, I suppose I grew more desperate. Um, so I at some point I just decided to if I want my best chance of finding or understanding any of this, I ought just listen to when I'm spoken to.
Hmm.
Ignoring it certainly didn't get me anywhere.
I see. All right. Huh. And if it told you to hurt somebody else, what would you do?
Oh. Hmm. Now that I would probably reconsider. I wouldn't. I'm not a violent person unless provoked.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, that's good at least. I really hope that voice of yours is kind and quiet on our journey.
You sound like my parents, Mr. Conliffe.
Oh? Uh,
They they said such things to me. Well, before they sent me.
oh? Where did they send you?
Well, at first to school,
All right,
and
as most parents do.
But then once I finished my studies, they simply sent me away.
Away where?
Anywhere that wasn't home.
Uh,
They said I could return once I figure out the voice in my head, as you put it. So I figured once I find whoever it is, things will become clearer.
Mm-hmm. And, well, let's say you do find who's talking to you in your head. You just gonna bring them home to meet mom and dad, or what?
No, I don't know. I suppose I'll just do whatever they tell me.
You
Whatever they
see,
think
I
is
don't think
best.
that's a very smart way to lead your life. Granted,
Mm-hmm.
well, the only voices I hear are the people who are talking to me. But, well, that just sounds like a way to get yourself in trouble.
I suppose it's one way to look at it. But suppose I find them and they have something beneficial to offer me.
Such as invitations to walk into the road? Or jump off a cliff? Or drown yourself?
Huh. Goodness, none of them have ever been that morbid. Yet, I suppose. You do seem awfully concerned.
Well, I can't say you're the first person I've ever met that heard voices, but... Well, you're the only one that listens to them.
Well, they have so much to say.
I can tell. Well, I'd say as long as you're staying with us, in this cave on our way to the town, if you decide to skitter away after that, well, I can't stop you. But think before you act, if it tells you to do anything.
All right.
Otherwise, Alfie's gonna have to knock your lights out like he did the last guy.
The last guy?
Yeah. Well, when you're in an order like we are, you meet people who are contradictory to your beliefs.
And what beliefs did they contradict?
Oh, well, we live in service to Lady Gracia. She's our leader.
Of course.
And they didn't quite like the idea of being led by a person who prefers not to show her face. Not to mention, well, they thought they could take control of the situation, and, well, Alfie showed them.
Oh, well, they sound quite unpleasant indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sure they were common brigands just pretending to be helpful. We didn't pay them much mind anyway, but, yeah, they're no longer with us.
And I just realized you haven't quite mentioned it, but I can tell by you and your friend's garb. What uh, to what order do you belong?
Oh, well, like I said, we are subservient to Lady Gracia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she likes to call us the listeners. I I don't see the need for a name. We just kind of travel together. Um, but I suppose every good order has to have a name to go along with it, so people know what to call us. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit on the nose, my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of things do you all do under her under her lead? I mean.
Oh, well, this is my first time really traveling with the listeners. So actually, not sure. Still getting used to it. But apparently, we go places where there's trouble, and we fix the trouble, and then we leave. She and Alfie have more information than me, definitely.
Perhaps I'll have to pick your friend's ear about it. I wouldn't wish to bother your lady.
You probably shouldn't bother him either.
Mm, good to know.
But yeah, it's been interesting to hear about your situation. I hope that you find what you're looking for.
I do.
Before
I
it kills you at the
appreciate
very
you for.
least.
I appreciate you for listening.
And hold on. I need to use the bathroom again. Sorry. And then we're gonna check on everybody else. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll also go pee.
I need to run to the bathroom too.
Howdy. I'm here. I hope everybody's alright and having a good time. I personally think I'm having a fantastic time so far. Again, this is very much a character that is outside of my normal scope of characters that I usually play, and it shows. I think it's an interesting experience to play a character who does not have all the facts in his head. He has a single brain cell, and it's playing the medieval equivalent of the Me Channel theme. He has another brain cell, but it's just Turgis. It's just Turgis. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see where it all goes from here. Made by these PCs. I want to know more about Alphios, damn it. It's a fascinating. It's all just really fascinating so far. I'm really happy with this experience. How are we doing tonight, Twitch chat? How are things happening?
What's up, my swagful gamers?
Oh, whoa. I got. One of my friends took a nap.
Oh?
Apparently, they have weird fucking dreams.
Oh. It'd be like that sometimes, I suppose.
Wow.
Alright. Are we all back? Who are we waiting for? Oh,
Yeah.
Haley's still away. We will wait. It's alright. There's only like 15. I did make the support sheet, which I will link in the chat. I know we're not done.
Yeah,
But-
supports.
You can fill in your own this time.
Oh.
Because I like the way Tiamat did that for his campaign.
Thumbs up.
How does that work?
So you just fill in their F through S plus.
Oh, for your character.
Yeah, you
I
just
see.
fill it in horizontal for your character, how they feel about everyone. I'm
I
not
see.
gonna fill in the NPCs until the end, because who knows what could happen.
Oh, I was. So wait, we marked down the conversations we had, or?
No, you could. So I'll show you at the end. Don't worry about it yet. Don't worry about it yet.
Okay.
I'll show everybody. I'll post a sampler of the one from the main campaign as an example.
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
That one's a fucking chonker. So
If you want to post one of mine, Sam, they're smaller.
yeah, maybe that's a better idea.
I have such work cut out for me when it comes
Yeah.
trying to deal with
Yeah.
Alpha.
You know, let me.
This-
I won't post it yet, but I'm gonna pull. I think I'll pull
Here's
up.
the main one.
I'll pull up Buried Fate.
Mhm.
Cause
Oh Jesus, right.
I am
Because you
The
guys
bad.
main
did-
campaign has so many people.
Whoa.
Oh Lord.
I was gonna grab Buried, the Lost Depths, but you guys did some shit to that
Yeah,
one.
that one Cheppy put like the male sign and the equal sign. There's
And then you guys came up
support's
with
only
new.
perceptible to shrimp on that.
You guys, yeah, you guys did.
Okay,
You guys hated
so-
Flynn so bad. Here's the smaller, more manageable. Here's the
Quick question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the main campaign one, there's what does the gray
That means they've
mean?
died.
Okay.
Deceased.
I'm
What are you
starting
talking
to
about?
piece together a story
Oh.
here vis-a-vis the NPCs that are dead and have Fs with every single party member.
Yeah, they got murdered.
They may or may not have
Sorry,
been
for the people
murdered.
on the stream who can't see this, we're a little off topic, but that's okay. This is what the main campaign support sheet looks like. You could really spell out the story here with the guys that got murdered. So these two are dead. And this guy is dead, but isn't a hater. But
He
anyways.
isn't a hater.
Yeah, no, that's Gear's dad. He just died because he was old as fuck. Okay. Anyways, before we get too crazy into it, Isidore. I'll pronounce it right one day. What are you up to?
Just remember, she's not a window, but she is a door.
Isidore. Got it. What is she up to?
Incredibly stupid way.
No,
of
but that's
remembering.
literally gonna work though.
Yeah,
I figured it would.
I was gonna have Maurice Marjoram say Isidore's name as Isadore. Like really enunciating it out.
Isidore. But what is Isidore up to?
So as soon as we get to the cave, she's just gonna kind of slink off to the hidden nook or cranny somewhere, trying not to be noticed. Is this a thing I have to try to like do a sneak about? Or
I
can
mean, if you
just
want to be
kind of
super
disappear?
sneaky, yes, or you could just slink away.
Like, I'm not trying to hide anything per se. I'm just projecting the energy of anyone that follows me is gonna get beat up.
Okay. Is
Kind of
anyone
like the,
tempting
like-
that fate?
Yeah, like would anyone here notice or attempt to follow Isidore into the like recesses of the
I think
cave?
Conleth promised you bandages, but he doesn't know where you are, so he's just gonna sit there and
Honestly, Cassander might follow you because he knows
Wasn't-
you got his bandages, so he
Yeah,
sees you.
Conleth
He's
was
like,
there
"Oh."
when Clover got bandages for her.
Got it.
Yeah, but Cassander might attempt to follow you, knowing that you received medical attention or you needed it? Question mark. Follows you.
Wasn't Cassandra talking to? Well, never mind. That's not my. Never mind.
Yeah, Cassandra can
Yeah,
follow.
I mean, this can occur. This is occurring immediately after we get there, so
Yeah.
I would assume it would take place
Yes.
before the conversation that Sandra just had.
Mhm.
Clover would notice her going over there, but would kind of get the vibe of like, yeah, she wants to be alone, so she let her be alone.
If Cassandra has noticed anybody's vibes, he's either ignorant of them or is willfully ignoring them. This guy's kind of operating on his own wavelength.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
She immediately notices that he's like,
Oh yeah, he's not
seems
being
to be-
sneaky.
and just turns and gives this really intense, like, do not take another step forward expression, and just says, I need to change my bandages. I would not appreciate it if someone was hovering over my shoulder while I did so.
Oh. Well, I wasn't trying to hover, miss, but I am a healer. If you want some attention. Miss Clover made it sound like as that your situation was well, it sounded rough. So, if you would like my assistance, I have some more minor medical supplies in my bag. I could take a look.
I would gladly take any supplies you have to offer. I don't need you looking, though. I'm very much fine, thank you.
He's just gonna kind of tap his eye, like where your eye is bandaged. I would think not. Are you sure you don't want a doctor looking at it?
I do not need doctors or holy men telling me what's wrong with me.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I suppose doctor's too proper of a word for what I am. I just know a little bit about cuts and such.
Well,
I'm not coming from a holy place either. Not right now.
well,
I was just concerned
it's
because of this
appreciated, but
clover.
this is a bit more than a minor cut or scrape. Trust me, I know how to handle the situation.
All right, give me just one moment then. He will slink out the repurposed full sack of his, and he will fish out like it's a pretty used up. Like there's not very much left in it of like some kind of like alcohol. Maybe it's the drinking kind that has been probably repurposed for other things. Um, but he will pass it out. He will extend it out to her. Um, there's not a lot left, but it doesn't go bad. It should be good for disinfecting anything. But if it's really as dire as well, all of this, he kind of gestures to the fact that you're skittering about, trying to tend to it yourself. If it's really as dire as all that, I really would ask Mr. Conleth or someone else for some assistance. They seem to know their stuff, and I doubt they intend to push anything onto you. They don't really seem to want us here.
Well, I don't really much care to have them here either, so.
I suppose we followed them.
Something like that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I do appreciate the help, but
Mm-hmm. And then he will wander away after having delivered you your stuff.
after which, Isidore slinks back into the cave. And about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, reemerges, uh, with fresh bandages, slightly less grime on her face, and a look of just crushing exhaustion, uh, which is promptly followed by laying down her, uh, her like coat cover thing. I don't know what the word for it is. It's not like a tunic. It like goes over your armor or
Tabard?
whatever. Is that what that's called?
I believe so. Thumbs up.
Yeah. A type of short coat commonly worn by men in the late Middle Ages, generally worn outdoors, is sleeveless or had short sleeves. Yeah, that's basically her overcoat tabard thing, lays it down, and then takes off her shoulder armor piece and like this other smattering of like small parts of like skirmisher armor she's wearing, organizes them in a very specific way next to her, lays down on nothing more than just like her overcoat on the floor of this cave, and within 30 seconds is audibly snoring.
Oh, good night, Queen. Delightful. All right. Well, she falls asleep, and actually, it's 9:54. So we're splitting this check-in down the middle. We're gonna start with checking on Maurice and Clover next session. So I entreat you to open up the file I put in the chat. It's called supports. You can, the two I posted, or the one I posted and the one team I posted, are just examples. The big one and a more reasonable sized one. But so what you do is supports range from F, which is I'm attacking you, I'm killing you, I hate you, to S plus, which is we are in romantic love with each other. So F is absolute hatred. D is can't stand this guy. C is neutral. We are acquaintances. You don't know someone very well. They get a C, but you've met them. If you've never met them, leave it blank. Which doesn't apply to anyone in this, I think. You've at least met everyone at least a little bit. And then B is, you're friends. You like this person. A is you really like this person. You're actually like friends. You consider each other friends, or you consider a person friends. S is this person completely and utterly trusts you. Kaoru will now die for you, or whatever the meme is. Or is it the fucking guy from Danganronpa? I don't remember. But and then S plus is, of course, if you are in a relationship with a character, you get the plus. The ampersand is a special one. It'll be coded in pink. Ampersand means you were out of support with someone and something so drastic has happened to your support. Like if you have an S with someone and then you punch them in the mouth, they will suddenly not know how to feel about you and they will get an ampersand. That will be resolved by the next session. It'll either go up, like they'll forgive you, or it'll go all the way down to they're now your enemy. So ampersands are something to watch out for if you manage to trip one for another unit. So what you can do is please open the sheet and you could fill in your support. So you, for example, Isidore is right here. Isidore could fill out how she feels about Cassandra, Isidore, Maurice, and your support does not have to match the other person's support. So for example, Cassandra feels positively about Conlith. Cassandra seems to like Conlith a lot. Conlith barely recognizes Cassandra exists.
Completely understandable. This is a schizophrenic man he found on the side of the road.
Yeah, no, he's
who's
like,
following
you
him now.
have problems. I see.
He's
But
like,
yeah, I've entered all the NPCs.
God.
I've entered all the NPCs here. Let me freeze this row actually.
I was almost expecting Gracia to be like S support with herself. Like I was like, oh, she's gonna be like but I see. Just a
Oh yeah, or what do we do for ourselves? Do we put our
How do you feel
Your
about
personal
yourself?
opinion about yourself. How do you feel about yourself? Are you happy with yourself?
Can I make a mechanical request?
Sure.
I love the quick Maurice switching to F for a second.
Maurice Marjoram has a
Sorry to
very
interrupt.
weird opinion of himself.
It's not that Isidore's opinion of herself is confused, it's that she doesn't remember what her opinion of herself is.
Okay. You can put
Question
an
mark?
ampersand for now. And then just, you're gonna put that in as just absolute blasting magenta pink.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
Sam, this
I like
isn't
how
automated?
No. What do you mean automated?
Okay.
There you go.
You can, like...
Yeah, Maurice Marjoram.
You can set it up so that you have to pick one of the set values and it's pre-color coded and everything, and there's a nice drop.
No, I made this 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I didn't do shit.
Right, but you don't have like a base one that you just
No.
copy paste versions of. How do you live like this?
Carefully.
I like how
Yeah.
Zappos is just vibing with everybody. He's just like, yeah, y'all cool.
Okay. So C is I have no real opinion about someone.
Yeah.
Maurice Marjoram is extremely aware that there is something that everybody else has that he doesn't. And I think that's why he dislikes himself so much.
The brain cell? Oh, buddy.
I think it's the brain cells or the fact that like everybody else feels so fulfilled and yet he doesn't.
Oh, he has the humble Turkus.
He does. That's why I think he keeps Turgus around, is because Turgus is so content and unbothered with his life. And
The
he
S
wishes to
support
have...
with Turkus.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, he does have a support with Turgus. That's his son.
Kaylee, are you having trouble?
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I'm just like, I'm tired. Fuck. Gotta remember everyone's names
Fuck
again.
these people.
What color is B?
C.
B
So
doesn't have a
C
color.
is
B and
fully
C are blank.
neutral. So C is like
What?
fully neutral, right?
Yes, and B and C
And
Annika
D is,
are
like-
white.
Oh, okay.
And D is like slightly negative?
Yes.
Question mark? Okay. Got it.
And you're welcome to change these over the course of the game and just have it open, but
I'll add the colors after.
yeah, no worries.
What's wrong, guys? You don't like Cassander? I say, having fully expected
No, I
this.
like Cassandra.
You don't like man who walks around, points at donkey. This is a messenger from God. You just are all too stupid to see that. Somebody started hearing the voices after doing glorious combat with this donkey.
Somebody did wrestling moves to this donkey.
And now they can hear God. This happened with me and Redacted.
Okay. All right, we'll dig. We got a nosy bitch on board. Conlith wants to know everything. So
Yeah. Hey,
I'm
bro,
gonna
what do you mean you were 10 when you started hearing God?
yeah.
I'm colored.
I'm gonna be completely honest. There's a lot of people around Isidore right now that are like one bad move away from being on her shit list. And by shit list, I mean hurting you physically, maybe.
What did Stathis do to get an A? Just hang out, be chill.
Yeah.
He was normal. Showed up, was normal. Thumbs up.
What color D are y'all using? Where's that orange from?
It's just orange. It's just the first
It's the
first row
first
of
orange.
One. Okay, I thought it was more neon than that.
No,
Okay.
it's just the first
I'm
orange.
tired.
It's okay.
I think he's kind of
Okay.
compelled by a
Part of it,
bias.
Sam, also is that Isidore just feels generally fondly about like simple working folk, I guess, as someone who this is like meta information and will never come up really, but like she came from like
Honest
Family
village
doesn't-
people.
family doesn't necessarily even have like a consistent last name because like
they're just that good.
they're just like, you know, they have a job in a village. So he's a guy that fixes stuff and is seems chill. So like
I'm appreciating Clover and Isidore's development. I wasn't expecting them to get friendly. Good vibes. Girls' night.
Girls' night.
Hot girl summer.
Night. All right, so
Cold girl winter.
cold girl winter warms them up by the fire. Let's see. So next week is the 13th. I will be here. I hope you guys are too. You guys might start combat next week. Probably. Unless you spend a lot of time role-playing and adventuring. Remember to caffeinate beforehand. Thumbs up. And I have to go to sleep because I might have work tomorrow. Or maybe they'll call it delayed opening. I hope so. But oh well.
Farewell.
Good night, gamers. Thank
hey,
you.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wait,
Good
what's up,
night.
Monica?
I seem to remember you saying, is there only one combat
There's
like,
only one.
planned?
Just one.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Just one. That's all I need.
We're all gonna die.
Who said that?
Yes.
Anyways, good night.
Good night.